I've got a feeling, woohoo, that tonight's gonna be a good... Has the Amazon delivery arrived?
No, the show's about to start.
The show's about to start? How long?
4 minutes.
4 minutes?
Yeah.
I haven't got...
Do you want me to go and get you a drink?
Yeah, 4 minutes. I've not got a drink or anything. I need a drink.
No, you sort your check out.
LCTV starts in 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Jane! Jane! Where are you? 3 minutes.
LCTV starts in 2 minutes.
Where the blooming heck is Jane? Where is she? Only 2 minutes.
LCTV starts in 1 minute.
Has she gone to Asda for that drink or what? Jane! Jane, where are the notes for the show? Oh, God, we need the notes. Oh, I'll have to get them. There we go. Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hope you can hear us nice and clear today. We've got everything right. We'll just wait for you to catch up. You're a little bit behind us, so we'll just wait for people. I see that Alan Duckworth is in. I said hello to Alan. Hi.
Hi, Alan.
We'll see anybody else post to us in chat.
Starting with a little bit of good news this morning. I've just seen that Preston have lost at home to Cardiff and are now dropped out of the playoffs. So
sad.
that's it's really sad.
It's making us a very, very
news.
happy Charles TV at 3. They're out of the playoff spots now. Come on. Keep them out there.
Jim Heaton's here from Newcastle.
Hello, Jim. Hi. Are you a Newcastle fan? Same as our Toon Army TV. Sharky. I don't know if you watch Sharky's channel, Toon Army TV.
Hey, Smithy from Millwall's here. Hi.
Yeah, we're all
Got
right,
you
geezer.
geezers as well. Sorry, I missed the quiz Tuesday. Stuck in work earning some dollar. Well, that's
good for you-
understandable.
good
We
for
all
you,
need to
Smithy.
do that, don't we?
Yeah, we do have to do that.
Napper's mum's here. Hi.
Hi, Jill. No, Preston have lost 3-1 to Tangerine Army, so they've lost at home to Cardiff, so a 3-1. So that's
Cardiff have overtaken them and jumped into the playoffs. So that's yeah,
so
we're
they're now
very
3
sad
points
about that.
outside the playoffs. Hi, Ben, Cods Vlogs. Hello,
Hi, Ben.
our favourite YouTuber from Fleetwood Town. If you haven't subscribed to Ben's channel, Cods Vlogs, make sure you do.
How excited are you at the moment, Ben, for the playoffs next week?
Yeah, Dennis Hutch, did we miss the 2-minute silence for Preston? Oh, 2-minute celebration, Dennis. It's wonderful news.
We can have a 2-hour celebration. We could have
Yeah,
a whole
yeah,
show
this
of
is a really
celebration.
happy. What we'd like to do, if any scores come through, let us know. We'll say any live scores.
Nothing going on in the Premier League today. It's the FA Cup this weekend. So we've had a match this morning. I think. Anybody know how that went on? We had.
Hi,
no,
Mark.
it's tonight. Norwich, Manchester United tonight at 5:30. So.
Hi, Mark Porter and Jim
Hi,
Heaton, a
Mark.
devoted
That's all right.
Seasider. Hi, Jim. Good to know.
Oh,
Ed.
Seasider from Newcastle.
Seasider from Newcastle. Okay, Ed. We all hate Preston. Yes, we certainly do.
We're not big fans.
No, we're not big fans at all. Could wish them nothing good. So I just hope they don't make the playoffs. Bright State of Mind Hypnotherapy. Rob, hi, how are you doing? He's been in Scotland. He's a Blackpool fan. I've been doing some videos for him. We've done a great video for him actually the other day we put up, which is it's one of these ASMR things where you just listen. It's just the rain.
What? ASMR.
I think it's is it
What's that?
So Rob will tell us. What does it mean, Rob? ASMR. It's something to do with just listening to the sound of the rain and the
Audio
birds
something.
something to do with Toon Army TV. Sharky is here.
Hi,
Hello,
welcome back.
Sharky. Not seen you
We've
for a long
missed you.
time. We have missed you. We wondered how you're going. Let us know how things are going on in Newcastle. Is the takeover off?
Oh
or
yeah,
on?
I haven't seen anything about that lately. Yeah, update us. Let us know. John Stevens is here. Hi, John.
Oh, Ben's booked his table at Poolfoot in the beer garden to watch the second leg.
Oh wow, that's a good idea. Unless
that's,
you can get together, can't you?
Yeah, that's
and do that,
exciting,
so.
Ben. Yeah, it's getting closer and closer, isn't it, to the playoffs? So
Yeah, we've
they
had,
were odd results, weren't they, James?
Yeah, we've had the League Two playoffs, of course, this week. The finals on Monday. I guess that's on Sky, is it? I haven't looked where we can watch that. Not that we're watching it anyway, but there's been some interesting ones. Exeter beat Cole U 3-1 in the second leg the other night, so they won 3-2 on aggregate. And Cheltenham, you may remember, they won 2-0 at Northampton in the first leg. They actually lost 3-0 at home in the second leg. So Northampton won 3-2 on aggregate. So that's happened before, obviously,
Yeah,
which
it's
we
happened
don't.
to us, that, hasn't
We don't
it?
like to remember that, but the manager, the Northampton manager, is Keith Curle. He was saying he showed the players the Arsenal 1989, how they managed to win at Liverpool to win the league at the end there. So that inspired them to victory. But yet another away win. There seem to be an awful lot of away wins going on at the moment with no home fans. Preston, of course, which I'll keep mentioning, did lose at home today to Cardiff. So there's a lot of away wins happening. So
there is a lot of away
I
wins.
just think that's really fascinating. I'd love to read some research into the why that's happening. Really.
I think it's just there's no home advantage with with the crowds being there.
Yeah, but there's no away advantage. So why are the away teams winning? I just don't.
Because they normally have that home advantage, which isn't there anymore. So obviously, when you go, you're not playing the home fans.
But still, you would think that the results would be even then, wouldn't you? But it seems to be the away teams seem to be skewed to be winning more than the home teams, and I don't get that.
No.
Lee and Cheryl are here.
Paul Maynard too. Hello, Paul. And John Stevens. Hello.
We're doing very well, thank you. Sending love
Mr.
back
Moley
to you.
enters the virtual room. Hello, Mr.
Oh,
Moley.
hello, Mr. Moley. I see you've been telling jokes all week, haven't you? I hope you've exhausted your supply.
Toon Army TV tells us the takeover is still on, I believe. We have to wait for the green light by the Premier League. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's going to... Well, fingers crossed for you anyway. You need to get rid of...
They don't seem too fussy, the Premier League. They didn't look into Blackpool's situation too much when we got promoted up there. So but obviously the spotlight's a little bit more on Newcastle, isn't it? With
oh, that's a good one, isn't it, for Toon Army? Check that out. They've got a game tomorrow in the FA Cup at home to Man City.
Yes.
It will be a tough game. Alan Smith says he just drew 0-0 with the Barnsley Ferrets. Fell
Oh.
asleep, absolute dust. Want my tenner back from iPhone.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, dear, Alan, was it that bad?
At least you weren't watching it in the rain, I guess.
So they're all early kickoffs then today, are they? Are they early kickoffs? There's a lot of early kickoffs.
Yeah, there was quite a few early kickoffs today. There's
What have we got on?
so it's the one
live?
Premiership game today. Premier League. Is it still called Premiership? Or
What's
is
the
that an old
games
thing?
on today? I've really
Villa
got some-
Wolves we've had this morning. Does anybody know how that went on?
We're going to find out.
And then there's the only other Premier League game this weekend is Watford Southampton tomorrow because it's FA Cup weekend. So how's everybody been?
Villa Wolves beat Villa 1-0. So
Oh.
in the Midland derby, yes, the Wolves won full
Oh
time.
dear, Villa not doing so well after all that money they've spent as well.
And the Championship, it's full time. Charlton 1, QPR 0. Preston 1, Cardiff 3.
What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
That's Preston 1, Cardiff 3.
Ooh, did Preston lose at home?
They did.
Does that knock them out of the playoffs?
I believe it does if I look at the live
Did
table.
Cardiff overtake them to get
I think
into
they
the
did,
playoffs?
yes. I think they did.
Dear.
That's just great news.
Poor Preston.
Swansea were beaten 1-0 by Luton. So Luton seem to be having a resurgence, don't they?
Yeah, do you know? I was looking at the form guide. Actually, Luton are top of the form guide, and they're right towards the bottom of the table, but they're actually top of the form guide. So yeah, it's interesting. They've just got a new manager, have they? Just got their old manager just gone back there. Am I making it up?
Barnsley drew 0-0 as we heard from Smithy. Derby beat Reading 2-1, and we've got Birmingham and Hull. They've just kicked off, and Hull have gone 1-0 up.
Oh,
So
now Hull really have been struggling. Actually,
They are struggling,
I think they've been doing really, really badly lately. Just Toonami TV says their match is on BBC One tomorrow evening, 6:30 kickoff at St James's Park, Newcastle Man City. So we might put that one on.
Yeah, we may well tune in for that one.
Yeah, I've got a concert to watch tomorrow night, but I don't think that's until 8:30. So I should be able to slot that one in.
So Leeds are playing. They're on TV now, are they, Nick? And then it's Man United.
Oh, Ryan's here. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Tangerine Army says, just stumbled across a Plymouth fans forum on Zoom. What a great chairman they have. Sounds like Sadler. Any chance you can try and arrange something like this with the club, as was excellent.
We'll have a look at that.
Well, we'll have a look. We've got, funny enough, we've got an interview, or we're going to be chatting with Gary Brabin in the week. So if anybody's got any questions, post, that for us to ask him, because it's going to be recorded and we'll put it up on the channel. Obviously, there was a few things that happened with Gary Brabin. Obviously, he was a player at Blackpool. Very hard man, a very popular player.
Did he play under Steve McMahon?
I think he did. Yeah, I think it was Steve McMahon at that time. Yeah.
Was he here when Steve McMahon did his flounce? Maybe
I can't remember. Yeah, maybe so. Obviously, he was assistant manager to Terry McPhillips, and he walks away right as all the fans came back, which was very strange. I went to the Accrington Stanley game with the boys, which was the game before we came back to the homecoming, and we got a really early goal. I think it was Matty Virtue scored early on, and then they just seemed first half. They just seemed this left winger that just had the run of the park. He had all the half to himself, and we didn't seem to be picking him up when they equalised. But second half, we were amazing. It was like watching Real Madrid. Blackpool were the best I've ever seen him play, and we got a penalty and won, but he kind of left after that game, which was weird, right as it was all starting to happen. So I need to ask him all about that, really.
We've got an interesting stat from Ben, who's our stato in the room. He says Villa have conceded all 4 goals since the restart, from 60 to 68 minutes. That's interesting, isn't it?
They're in trouble, Villa, a bit, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've got Leeds United and Fulham 0-0, Stoke and Middlesbrough 0-0, Wigan and Blackburn 0-0. Who do Fleetwood go out? When do Fleetwood go out the playoffs?
The playoffs are the 3rd and the 6th of July, so that's...
it's not far off, is it?
It's not far off. Is it a week after next? Or is it... No, it's this Friday, isn't it? This Friday and the following Monday. Is that right, Ben? How's my favourite pair on TV? We're absolutely fine, aren't we? We've had a nice week this week, weather-wise. It's been lovely. It's been really sunny. I've been out in the garden a bit and caught a bit of the rays. I think I got a bit of sunstroke, to be honest, the other day. But we've been eating lots of ice lollies, which unfortunately we can't stop eating. It's been so hot. But it's been a bit weird this morning. It actually bucketed it down this morning. It was so torrential. I think there's a little bit of thunder as well, but it's still really warm. It's very, very uncomfortable. The only way we're finding to manage it is just to eat lots of ice lollies, which probably isn't the way forward, but they are great.
Mazzini 3210. Hello, Mazzini. I've got a feeling we will actually make the playoffs next year.
I think so.
I think we all have. Yeah, I think there's an enthusiasm and a buzz around Blackpool with Neil Critchley and the connection with Liverpool, and obviously a great coach. And let's just hope he plays in a much more entertaining way than Simon Grayson did.
Sharky's asking what league is Sunderland in next season. Can you let me know? Well, we'll have to watch Sunderland till I die to find out. I'm sure that'll be nicely dramatic, won't it? Yeah,
I think they're still with us, aren't they, Sunderland?
Oh, still with us, yeah.
Dennis Hutch says, "Wear your shin pads for the Brabin interview." Yeah, fortunately, it's on a call, so we won't be anywhere near getting kicked around. But yeah, he was a real tough character, wasn't he? I've spoken. Funnily enough, I put a message on the Hull City board because he went to Hull City and I think he played 96 games for Hull, and he's a real legend there. There's even a song, somebody did a song about him called Ex-Bouncer, because apparently he was an ex-bouncer, wasn't he? So he was very hard player. In fact, I think we got him after Andy Morrison, didn't we? We had Andy Morrison, and then he was like I don't know if he was the direct replacement for Morrison. I can't remember now, but I think Andy Morrison was actually more terrifying than Gary Brabin, to be honest. He was really... God,
he was. He bite someone's eyebrow.
Yeah, he did.
I just need to go and get a prop to answer Mr. Moley's question, so I'll leave you in charge for a moment.
Okay. Jane's off to get a... Oh, Red Room. Hi, Red. All right, how you doing? Macca Flounce, yes. I'll let you tell him that, Jane. Yes, he did. He did have a bit of a... Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one, wasn't it? When he walked out and then he walked back in. In the sort of the conference or something, and said, I've changed my mind. It's been thundering in Newcastle. Well, it's not been thundering here, Toon Army TV, but we have had like a torrential downpour, but it's beautiful and sunny now. It's gorgeous. I mean, we're just getting some amazing weather. Mr. Moley, what football book are you reading at the moment? I think Jane is going to tell us all about what book she's reading.
Yes.
You can also maybe tell the truth on this channel about what you thought.
Yes, well,
we'll have a little chat about it.
As you may know, I've been reviewing books on my blog, which address of which you will see at the bottom of the screen anon. I'm reading football books. I'm reading one a week and reviewing them, so you can have a pop onto my website, janestewart.co.uk, to see what I'm reading at the moment. And
down there.
Right now, since you asked me, I was just about to mention this. I think Ryan, you'll approve of this one. It's called Heartfelt, and it's by Aidan Smith, and it is about a Hibs fan who goes to watch Hearts for the season in the name of writing a book. So that's quite interesting. So it says, a brilliant book. It's faking it and fever pitch swapping shirts. Your car, your partner, your house, you can change them all, but your football team is the one passion in life that's truly untouchable, even sacred, right? Not for Aidan Smith. During one confusing but fascinating season, ardent Hibs fan Aidan Smith crossed the Derby divide to support local rivals' Hearts. He wore their colours, sang their songs, supped in their pubs and ate their pies. And along the way, he learnt some valuable lessons about football, about life, about the true meaning of the beautiful game. So.
There's no way I could go and watch Preston. It's not going to happen.
Oh, we could have had a good laugh this morning, though.
Yeah, we could have had a good laugh. I'd have to go on the away thing, under the Kosh thing, and go in the away end. But no.
But have you read this one, Mr. Moley? It's an interesting experiment. I'll read all about it next
Red
week.
Red Room's here. You didn't
Friday.
see when I was here.
No, I read.
Napper's mum says Fleetwood play Wickham home leg Friday the 3rd and the away leg on the 6th. So there's not much. Yeah, it's coming pretty close, that, isn't it? Toon Army TV has just said that Leeds have gone 1-0 up against Fulham. It looks like Leeds are going to actually not blow it this season and actually get up.
There's a programme on Amazon Prime about Leeds, actually, that we spotted last night. Has anybody watched that? Because we thought that looked quite interesting. It sounds like a Sunderland Till I Die thing, but about Leeds.
Yeah, it does look quite good. We may start watching that. Ian R and Tangerine Army both asking about Jay Spearing and our thoughts on Spearing. Well,
not fussed, really. I think we can do
better. I actually thought on his day he was a really good player and he was a very experienced pro. But he'd been dropped, hadn't he, Reece? Towards the end with these two lads coming in, and we didn't seem to miss him, really, did we?
When you see the quality that came in through the two lone lads, from Wolves and Leicester, it looked like that's the kind of player we need to just take us on to the next level. I'm sure he's done a great job. I haven't seen a lot of him, obviously, apart from this season. What he's done in seasons before, I don't know. I believe he was a lot better and seems to have sort of gone off a little bit this season.
Well, he's getting on a bit. How old is he, Spearing? I don't know what old. I mean, obviously he's not old. He'll be in his 30s, but
yeah, he's a good pro and he's brought a lot of experience, obviously. But and he knows the manager. But something hasn't been agreed, and he does seem to have been putting himself out there a little bit. He's been on a lot of the Liverpool podcasts and vlogs, hasn't he? So maybe that's been sort of raising his profile with this in mind, really.
He never comes across as a lot of fun, I always think. I think he's a bit of
Well, he's captain, isn't he? He's got to have this sort of facade. You don't really know what he's like in real life, do you?
I mean, he was all right with us. We did the video where we went to the players' Q&A, and he was there, and he talked to us, and it was really nice. But he was a little bit scary, if I'm being honest. I thought when I was talking to him, he came across as a bit scary. So he's a bit of a hard man. He never really did much wrong, but he never did much exciting, did he? He was
that's it. You got it spot on there, I think.
Yeah, he was like a back past Barry, wasn't he? Where he was just kind of steadied the
Barry.
Yeah, Barry Ferguson was the same when he was going back past Barry, because he just either crabbed across or backwards. He didn't do much penetration, and you could never see Spearing picking the ball up and running at the defence, could you? He was always looking for that good pass, but he didn't.
No, he never did anything to excite me.
No, he didn't excite you. But having said that, he's a good player.
See that Ben Hennigan's been released by Sheffield United this week.
Yeah, that's
so
interesting. Yeah, I wonder if he'll want to come.
Some people are saying potentially he could be our new captain if we get him in. But I seem to recall Bristol Rovers away when he was given the captain's armband and was sent off.
It wasn't
so
very
maybe,
good, was he? Yeah,
maybe it's something.
He got a rush of blood in that game, didn't he? He got sent off.
But I'd love to have him. I think he's a great player. He could do a job for us definitely next season. I'd love to have him back. So we'll see.
Ryan saying, I see you wrote about talking Scottish football on the stream today. Isn't that my job?
Well, we didn't say we were going to be talking Scottish
actually,
football, right?
We were actually referring to you.
Yeah,
because you always end up talking about Scottish football with you, so we will be talking about the chaos that is.
I'm actually learning a lot about Scottish football from this book, actually.
Yeah, this book as well. Now, Jane's just done a book review. Should we talk about your little book review that you've just done on the non-league that you've given?
Oh, yeah, called The Bottom Corner by Nige Tassell, which, it was an odd one, really. There's some interesting stories in there, and there's a lot about it that I enjoy, but it sort of made me feel a little bit. I didn't want to say too much really in the review that I did, but it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. He seemed to be a little bit disparaging about non-league in some of the language he used. That made me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
It kind of made her angry. She didn't mention it.
I did. I got like halfway through, and I'm like,
but she really didn't. She really didn't like the fact he was very condescending towards it all, and he didn't really get into the nitty and gritty and the.
Well, no, I mean he's a journalist. He sort of went to the clubs and he interviewed people, and then he went away and got his story and went away. But it was different really to the fans' books that I've been reading, where you really get what the fans feel, and it was just a different kind of book, really. But,
okay, but not truly recommended. Now, Smithy, you're gonna have to help us here. The way Wall are playing since lockdown makes me want to hit the Britney Spears. That's obviously Cockney rhyming slang. Britney Spears. Yes. What? Hit the beers. Beers. Yeah, we got it.
Oh, he's got Preston lost. Yeah,
yes, of course.
Did Preston lose? Just remind everybody.
Yeah,
he might have come in late. Preston lost.
How did they go on Preston
today?
They
lost 3-1 at home to Cardiff, and they've been knocked out of the playoffs.
That's marvellous news for everybody on the Gold Coast that Preston lost today.
Oh, Mr. Moley, BFC celebrity fight, Morrison versus Brabbin. Winners to take on the winner of Gary Briggs versus Bill Bentley. Oh, blimey. Gary Briggs, you wouldn't want to mess with him, would you?
Gary Briggs was seriously hard.
He was a very scary man.
He was scary, yeah.
You put him next to Jay Spearing. I'm sorry, I'm not scared of Jay Spearing. Gary Briggs.
Gary Briggs was terrifying, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Blue Tube. Oh. Hi, Blue Tube. You've been loving our channel at the moment. Which is your channel, Blue Tube? We'll check you out.
I'm guessing blue is a football colour and that's not a porn channel.
yeah. It might be a porn channel. Blue, just let us know what your channel is and we'll give you a shout out and we'll go and check it out and we'll subscribe to you.
Toon Army TV. I've watched the Leeds United documentary on Amazon. It's a good watch. Very interesting. So yeah, we'll give that.
Yeah, we kind of thought it looked a little bit like Sunderland Till I Die, to be honest, which, we have actually enjoyed. And I know, obviously, you're Newcastle, but it was interesting. I thought the people that filmed it did it just really, really well. I thought they captured football very well. Sometimes you watch a football film, don't you? And it's just so not like football, but I thought it really got into the nitty gritty of it and the way they pause as the ball was coming across. You didn't know it was going to be a header in or a miss or whatever. There was a lot of exciting moments. And
are you going to be on the Fleetwood one, Ben? I know they're doing one at Fleetwood, aren't they, at the moment? Are you going to be on screen in that one?
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Ben as a movie star.
Mr. Moley says he's not read that one. Looks decent. Hipster Hearts crosses the sectarian divide too. Did he convert? It's not. He's not really focusing on that side of things. It's just at the moment so far. It's just his general really bad discomfort because he's known. He writes for the local press up in Edinburgh. So he's getting recognised by a few people, and he just feels really uncomfortable. And he's just, what I've got up to, he's just been away to Rotterdam to watch them in Europe, and he's been outed over there, and he just feels really uncomfortable because he's so far away from home, and it's you can really empathise with how he's feeling and how he's torn. But he is cheating a little bit. But
Blue Tube says he remembers when we were at about 900 subscribers. Yeah, I remember it well. It seems a lifetime ago, but getting to this 2,000, we've got to 1,900 now, so it's getting there. But I just want to get over that 2,000,
we'll be there soon.
Especially before we get to these football content awards. We want to be up there because there's some with many more subscribers than us. So I just like to. I don't want to be like the lowest subscriber when I get
still
there.
The best.
Yeah, the best, but we're not as big as some of the other ones. I think I mentioned the other week. There's a girl that just basically just talks in her bedroom on every video, and she's got 4,000 subscribers. I can't remember what club she's with, but we're up against some toughies.
Mr. Moley's rereading the Simon English classic from the 80s, The Football Grounds of Great Britain. Amazing how grounds have changed in just a single generation. Yeah, I mean, from one of the books that I've just been reading was about, and I feel the same about how we're sort of this age where we got to see what the old grounds were like, and they're not all these characterless ones that you've got now. There are still the old ones, and obviously the non-league ones are great, but and Tranmere is still sort of an old styly, isn't it? But they've certainly changed a lot, in my 30 years ago.
They're a lot safer now, aren't they? I mean, obviously everything came about because of the Bradford disaster and the Hillsborough disaster and the Heysel disaster. It had to change, didn't it? People were getting killed, and you're pretty safe now in a football ground. You don't feel any danger, do you? Really?
I do at Everton. I don't like the narrow concourse. I'm really not comfortable with Everton. But they're moving on.
They've got a brand new ground, which is going to be amazing. It's a ground I really want to see because it looks incredible.
It does. David Skoll says, which lollies? Solero for me. Oh, Nui. I'm obsessed with the Nui lollies. They're amazing.
Yeah,
they're in all the supermarkets. They're in Co-op. They're in Morrison's, Tesco, Asda. They're really, really, really nice. They're like Magnums, but they're nicer because they're different flavors, and they're nicer than Magnums. They're great.
I like
Soleros. Yeah, they're nice and refreshing.
I like a Roundtree's watermelon one. I think they're really nice. I really enjoy them. They're dead refreshing.
Yeah, Roundtree's do some good. I like the fruit pastel lollies as well. They're lovely and refreshing.
Oh, 2-0 to Hull.
Blimey.
Yeah, 2-0 to Hull. I tell you what, I've gone on their website. I brought them luck. What to say? Just going on. Another celebrity fight for me in Alan Skirton versus Tom White. I never saw Tom White play, or I don't remember him. So was he hard, Tom White?
Ryan says nothing's happened in Scotland.
Oh, blimey. Well, there's not much to talk about Scottish football today then, because it's chaos up in Scotland, but obviously it's died down a little bit.
We can talk about the food in Scottish football. That sounds very interesting, actually. I've been on a few of the Facebook football groups talking about football food and the interesting and quirky pies and different things that you can get, and it seems like Scotland's the place to be for some really interesting different types of food. Have you got anything to add on that, Ryan? Have you had anything nice to eat in Scottish football grounds? Actually, in this book that I'm reading at the moment, Hearts are playing their European matches at Murrayfield because their ground wasn't fit to play in Europe, and they had there, if I can find it, which I can't, but I'll hand over to you.
Okay, let's have a look on this. Funny on the Plymouth Forum says...
Oh, no, I've got it, sorry. The food menu at Murrayfield, they got venison burgers and wild boar.
Oh, that's an amazing menu, isn't it?
Is that a rugby thing or a Scotland thing? Or I'd love to see stuff like that on the menu.
Yeah, it's not very imaginative, is it? You just get like a meat and potato pie or a blooming packet of crisps or a Twix or something, don't you? It's pretty standard fare at football matches. Balti pies, aren't they? But it's all pretty much the same. Tangerine Army says, funny on the Plymouth Forum, their fans are desperate to sign Hardy.
Really?
Well, I'm not surprised, really, because he was amazing for them, wasn't he, really?
Yeah.
They promoted Plymouth?
Don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think they are. So, I mean, all down to Ryan Hardy. He scored. I mean, every time he came on the pitch, he scored,
if
didn't
they're
he?
desperate, they'll pay a lot of money for him, which would be nice.
But he is signed to. He is contracted to Blackpool. So I found him because I met him quite a few times. During the season at the fans forums and before, and I met him in the little shop in the Hounds Hill, and he just seemed a really lovely guy. Always smiling, always happy. I always thought, blimey, they shove him out everywhere, but he's quite an ambassador for the club. He was just a lovely man.
There's obviously a story there. They must have let him go for a reason. Whatever.
Mark Porter doesn't think that Spearing is going to be much of a loss. Never felt that he commanded the midfield. No, I'm the same, really. He was just steady Eddie, wasn't he? He was just steady Eddie. You didn't even really notice him half the time. You wouldn't even notice he'd touch the ball because he never did anything that really set the heart racing, did he? Very rarely did he put like a defence splitting pass through, or I can't remember anyway. He might have done, but I liked him. I liked Spearing. I didn't dislike him. I thought he was a decent player, but I think there's better.
It's a tough one with Hardy, though, isn't it? Because I think everyone's got the price, haven't they? So if they come with a good deal and he wants to go there, then it would be perhaps a nice thing to do to let him go if things haven't worked out here. But potentially, he could be great for us if he stays with the new manager and the new regime. So yeah, let's see what happens there. It'll be an interesting one. I think it's a win-win for us, really. We'll either get money for someone who hasn't been playing for us, or we've potentially got this great hot shot for next season. So
yeah, it would be great if he did become a hot shot for the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Mr. Molly says he gives any book 20 pages. If I'm not enjoying it, I sack it off. Life's too short, especially at my age. Well, I do agree with you. I tend to give it a little bit more than 20 pages. Sometimes if a book's really, really not grabbing me at all. In fact, I did it with a Joe Nesbo book, Macbeth by Joe Nesbo. I wasn't getting that at all, and I love him. I love the the Harry Hole books, but I just couldn't get inside. I had to give that one up. I might give it another go because I heard it gets better, but sometimes it's Stephen King. I read in Stephen King's On Writing, I believe it was, where he said if a book is taking more than it gives, then that's not. You should give it up because, you wouldn't watch. I don't watch TV series all the way through if I'm not enjoying them. So I didn't. Yeah, so that's actually a good measure for that book that I've just read. I didn't sort of hate it that much that I didn't want to carry on reading it, but it made me feel angry.
Just like Just Ryan Dummer says, just like Blu-ray is now a type of DVD. I remember meeting him in a market in Blackpool. Blu-ray. Did you know? I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Ryan. You might just have to explain that. Who did you meet in a market in Blackpool? Ben's on the terraces in chatting football and Fleetwood Town. I should hope he's on it. He definitely will be on it.
Oh, brilliant.
John Walter seems to be having a problem with his phone. It's saying it's stupid. It keeps just saying G. So
just has to have a hole in my left sock.
It's got a hole in my left sock. Well, that would have to be binned in my house. I have to keep it. Any sock that doesn't cut muster anymore just goes in the bin. James, get me down from 360 to a reasonable amount.
You're down to about 77 pairs now, I think.
John Waters, I love cricket grounds and piers. Yeah, so kind of missing the cricket. I love cricket. I really do. I enjoy summer of cricket. So piers are great as well.
Mr. Morley, a trivia question from the Simon English Football Grounds book. The old Bloomfield Road has a certain configuration feature that only 4 out of 92 grounds had at the time, 1987. What was it? A certain configuration feature.
Certain configuration. Well, it had the old cot without a roof. Then it had that little thing in the corner, didn't it? It was like a little stand in the corner. Tiny little stand. Obviously all wooden stands, wasn't it? South Stand was wooden. Had a scratching shed on one side. And it's like a long terrace. Well, I'm not quite sure. Landudno Pier. Never been to Landudno Pier.
Oh, I nearly went to Landudno.
We need to know, Mr. Moley.
I went to Colwyn Bay to watch Chase Town, which is a lovely place, by the way, if you ever get the chance to go. Really lovely, lovely people. Llandudno's just next door to that. So I think that's where they had the goats that were roaming around the town during the start of lockdown as well, wasn't it?
Ah.
Yeah, I'll have to pop to Llandudno at some point.
Ian Ars confirmed that Tom White used to intimidate the goalies. So
Yeah,
obviously a bit
not,
of a
not a lot of
hard
that
man.
goes on these days. It used to, that used to work quite well sometimes.
Oh, Alan Smith has recommended a footy film for everyone. It's called Marvellous, about Stoke City kitman geezer. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's in the Roger Melly next week.
On the telly. Yeah, that is really, really good. I love that. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
What, Marvellous?
Yeah. He's a lovely, he's a really, really lovely guy.
Right. We'll have to see that then.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Mr. Moley, a philosophical question. Which I've just lost. Yeah, a philosophical question that kept me awake last night. Does a drinking straw have one hole, two, or none at all? Yeah.
It's one, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on straws. We had a
It
McDonald's
probably has only
last
one,
week,
one hole.
and they had these paper straws. They just go mushy in your mouth, don't they? There needs to be a better solution.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they don't bend either. You need a bendy straw, don't you? So no, I don't enjoy the McDonald's straws. But I bought some metal straws, but they kind of taste too much of metal, which
they're a bit weird, aren't
they're a bit
There's
weird.
pasta straws as well, isn't there? That's a thing. But I'm not sure how I feel about that either.
Ryan Dunbar's just confirmed Kilmarnock have a lovely pie at Rugby Park, but apart from
Yeah.
that, it's hard, cold, horrible pies and burgers, which sounds just exactly like it is in
There's
England.
something
really,
called is it a birdie or a bridie that's like a pastry fold over thing as well that's been mentioned in Scotland.
Ooh, Tangerine Army is just saying Preston have got to play Derby who are 9th, Forest who are 5th, Brentford who are 3rd, and Bristol City who are 12th, but games in hand. Just some of the teams the Nobbers have to play.
Oh dear, it's not looking good for them, is it?
No, it's not looking so good for them. What a shame. They spent all that money as well to try and get up. It's hurting me so. It's hurting me so much.
They lost this morning. Did you know?
Yes, I believe 3-1.
3-1 at home.
Yeah, 3-1 at home.
Shame.
So sad. Leeds are still 1-0 up. Stoke are losing to Middlesbrough 1-0. Wigan and Blackburn are still 0-0.
Mr. Moley says more sporting fare from Edinburgh. The ice hockey rink next to Murrayfield sells cheese macaroni pies and veggies delight in that cold rink. Ooh, that sounds nice for a winter's evening or afternoon.
A cheese macaroni pie.
Yeah, cheese.
That'd be all right at the Tony Macaroni.
Yeah. Oh, now I did find a new stadium name because we were for those of you who weren't in the quiz on Tuesday night, we were talking about. Ryan told us that Livingston play at the Tony Macaroni Stadium. I found another one this morning. Cheltenham play at the Johnny Rocks Stadium.
Johnny
Rocks Stadium. That's a chauffeur company in Cheltenham.
That sounds really exciting.
Johnny Rocks.
John Walters asked, when will the Elvis event be in Blackpool again?
Well, who knows? Who knows when?
I don't even remember
before.
the first
I
Elvis.
think places, theatres and music venues are allowed to open again, but they're not allowed to have singers on and things. So who knows? It's all a bit ridiculous at the moment.
No.
So we've been watching, music, people playing music in their garages and in their living rooms. They've been on YouTube and Zoom. Been watched a Duke Special concert last night on Zoom, and David Ford tomorrow night will be on YouTube. If you just pop him into YouTube, David Ford, he does a free concert every other Sunday evening. He's very, very, very talented man. He does some great songs. He plays some great music, and
he is good.
Everyone who I've taken to see him, including Lee now, we sort of take him to see him, and everyone says he's really good. So
I'd be interested to know if there's any other stars do like these live streams from the home. I should imagine there's more of these.
Yeah, I imagine there are. Has anybody else been watching any live music or events from their living room? It's amazing, really, what you can do without going out. I actually prefer it in a way to go into a concert, because at least when it's finished you're already home. You don't have to worry about getting the last bus home or whatever, which was often a problem for me, especially with David Ford. He always used to go on beyond the last bus, so I had to leave early to get the bus home.
Mr. Molly's just been to the dark recesses of his collection to find his first edition of Fever Pitch, signed by Nick Hornby, when only his mum knew who he was. Time to read it again, methinks. Wow, that's a collector's edition.
Well, that was they made that into a film as well, didn't they, with Colin Firth?
Yeah. Ryan Dunbar has just clarified when we were joking Blue Tube was a porn channel. I said Blu-ray is now a type of DVD standard when used to meet guys selling porn up market.
Oh, right.
Got you now.
Got you.
One Rovers Vlogs. Hello, One Rovers Vlogs.
Hi.
Tranmere
Yeah.
Yes, Tranmere Rovers vlogger. Check out his channel.
Oh, is it Bristol?
Is it
Blue
Bristol
and
Rovers?
white, isn't it?
Oh,
Blue
yes.
and
Sorry,
white.
Bristol
It's blue
Rovers.
and white, not super
Do
white, that
apologise,
one.
yeah. So, One Rovers Vlogs. Nice to have you along. If you haven't checked out his channel.
Is it raining in Bristol?
Yes, it's always raining in Bristol, isn't it?
It's not raining normally when you go and play City or when you're actually just going to Bristol when you play Bristol Rovers. It is always raining. It's just like they got their own microclimate.
Well, Adam Clark says Liverpool are champions, and as a new Liverpool fan, it's a miracle. I think Liverpool can win the Premier League again next season.
Yeah, we have not even mentioned Liverpool, have we? Yeah.
Well,
so
what do you all think about it? Because James been saying they didn't even get the glory of winning it, did they?
Yeah, not only did they not have, did they not win it through winning a match, so the players didn't get that whole, at the end. It was because they got it through Manchester City not winning, so they didn't even have their moment, and obviously the fans weren't there and they didn't have their moment. It's just all, I mean, it's really sad, really, because you want to be there, and I can understand why. I know with social distancing they shouldn't have, but I can understand why they all got together and congregated and celebrated, because it's just a wonderful thing and it might never happen again. So although it might happen again next season, you don't know, and they'll appreciate it more, I guess, if it happens next season. And they've got, but yeah, I get why they did what they did, and
it was
it
a
means
spy
so
on,
much to
spy on
Liverpool.
Cop was the thing that we had, a spy on Cop end, which not many teams.
No, that's a question.
It's a question. Oh, we're asking if it's a spy.
Answer.
Okay.
Is it a cop without a roof? When did the roof get taken off? So that was 1987. Stoke 0, Middlesbrough 1. Middlesbrough now, they've had a change of manager. I was reading this morning. Jonathan Woodgate has been sacked and replaced by Neil Warnock.
Oh.
Better known as Colin Wanker in the football world. It's an anagram. We like our anagrams, don't we?
Colin Wanker.
Colin Wanker. He's just taken over for the last 8 games of the season, and obviously.
Ian R's been watching Silent Witness this past week. Excellent drama with Amanda Burton, who is a bit of all right by the sounds of things. I don't even know if she's Silent Witness.
I've never watched Silent Witness. I stopped watching the murder things. I used to watch quite a lot of crime and the Scandi noir stuff as well. I've stopped watching it really now. It all got a bit.
Ryan Dunbar says it's a 4 for
Bridie.
Yeah. 4 for Bridie. They're amazing macaroni pies. Never even heard of a I didn't even know they did macaroni pie.
No, I never heard of macaroni pies, and I never heard of Bridie's either. I think they're like calzones or calzones, but with not pizza. They're pasties like pies, calzone pie. Ryan says, funny story. Hamilton Accies Stadium used to be the CBD Stadium a couple of seasons back, and the teams ran out to that song because I got high. No word of a lie, that happened.
Oh, what I got high? Is that the one about all the drug taking? Because he's a yeah. I think I've heard that song. They used to come out and say that, did they? Wow, very very good. So that was all CBD. Is that the thing that they take for like?
I don't know. I don't know what CBD is.
CBD oil, isn't it? It's like
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like cannabis oil, which is really good for people's health. And
I see. Oh gosh, that's
the guy was a paraplegic. In that I got high. I remember I used to do a karaoke night in Chapel Street at, I can't think of the name of the pub now, on a Sunday night through the lights, and there was a guy who used to come in there and he used to sing that I Got High, and he was in a wheelchair. So he used to go. He used to love to sing that song. He was really good as well. He was brilliant. A little old guy, and he was in all the time. That's how I'd never heard of it before then.
Oh, Mr. Moley's in with a joke. I didn't know. He's done quite well, lasting 38 minutes there. The Elvis event will be on the 12th of Never. I'll get my mole coat, moleskin coat.
Until the 12th.
I like a bit of moleskin. It feels nice.
Okay, clue for the configuration. Trivia question. The other 3 grounds were Turf Moor, and they still have it, Meadow Lane, and the Den, the old ground of the Den. Turf Moor, they still have it. Well, the only thing they still have at Turf Moor is that they still have the
wooden seats.
Wooden seats. Connor Moyes. Oh, something we hadn't heard about, Connor. How do we feel about Preston? Did they get
Preston
Did they get
lose?
beaten, Connor? We haven't mentioned it at least 20 times already, but I think we need to mention it once more.
Yeah,
Preston got beat 3-1 today by Cardiff. They're out of the
Blackburn
playoffs.
playing now because they
Blackburn
could
are on
overtake
now.
them
Yes,
as well.
they're 0-0 with Wigan.
Oh,
so
come on,
Rovers. Blackburn. We need to knock them down even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, no, we're very happy. We're very happy about that. That's really perked us up this morning.
So Mr. Moyes says he can
Meadow
overlook.
Lane is Notts County. They have nice pies at Notts County. That's nothing to do with configuration. No, I don't know. Cricket ground. Another sports ground. Is it? No.
Oh, you've got me there.
Mr. Moley, I can overlook the LFC celebration at the ground on Thursday, but last night the pier head was uncalled for, in my opinion. Yeah, that was like an organised thing, wasn't it? And I was in all the litter that they left behind as well. It's pretty disgraceful.
Mr. Moore says, if you watch hockey at Edinburgh's rink, believe you me, you need hot, carb, calorific delights. Makes boundary parts seem like...
Oh, goodness me.
Wow, is it that cold up
Makes
there?
boundary parts seem like Honolulu.
Wow,
Blimey, that is.
Must be really cold.
Gosh.
I mean, we do know Scotland's cold, and we have said to Ryan we're going to go protect a Rangers match, but we're definitely going in proper thermals up there because it is proper cold in Scotland. We're just not used to it in England. It's freezing up in Scotland. Ryan Dunbar says, Molly, see if people bought tickets and the gig got cancelled. Does the ticket say if cancelled, return to sender? Oh. Think more about ground configuration and orientation. Is that because we're north to south, the north to the south? Are we the only grounds? Is there not many grounds that go north to south?
Was it like having the
away end at the north?
Having a terrace with a stand above it? Was that a rare thing? Orientation.
Mr. Moley, honestly, you've got us. Does anybody know the answer to Mr. Moley's question? We need help.
Yeah, it's a good question.
It is a good question, but I don't know. Apart from the fact it's north, it's a north to south, and the away ends at the south, and the away ends at the north, or was at the north, and the home is the south. Is that unusual? Adam Clark said he wanted Preston in the FA Cup this season, and we didn't get it. Or I wanted Liverpool because it's the cheapest way to go to Anfield. Yeah, no. Right.
Well, actually, there's a fact that's come out this week that Blackpool are the only team in the last 30 years that Liverpool hadn't got a point off.
Yeah.
In the top flights. Since their last one, we're the only team that they haven't got a point off. So that's good. Alan Smith York City Ground was once called the Kit Kat Crescent. Soon melted away. Oh, yeah, Kit Kat Crescent. I like that one. That's pretty cool.
So, what news have we got for everybody today, Jane?
What news have we got?
What's the news? Scores Blackburn still 0-0.
Oh, Sean Dyche seems to be unhappy at Burnley.
Is he?
Yeah, he wants to. He's annoyed that they're not spending money and signing players on longer contracts. But to be fair, they're in a bit of a financial mess at the moment, aren't they? And he's saying that they haven't really. He doesn't. Seems like he's saying that he hasn't been given the financial support that he wants for them to kick on. But to be fair, he's got them up to the Premier League and they've stayed there for 5 years, so they're doing enough.
Yeah, and they're pretty close to the European spots, aren't they? Bernard, quite high up.
And if they had spent,
we'd sell for that.
They seem to be spending an awful lot of money from what they were saying, and they're in a lot of trouble already. I think he's speaking out at the wrong time. But it sounds like he's saying, well, let's just see what happens. So I don't think he's got a cat in hell's chance of getting any more money and signing players on longer contracts at the moment.
Especially how much money they were talking about they were losing, weren't they? They were losing millions, which I couldn't quite get my head around. They barely spent any money.
Like a lot of people are thinking at the moment, well, am I doing, job-wise, am I where I want to be? And a lot of people are giving thoughts to changing careers and changing jobs at the moment. And it sounds like potentially that's what's happening with him. So, but he's one of the longest-serving managers. Actually, we'll have learnt from the quiz the other week when we did a round on the longest serving managers in the league. He's in the top 10 there.
Ian R's asked any players you would really like to see playing Tangerine next season. Well, I keep saying I like that lad from Tranmere, that Morgan Ferrier. I thought he looks a really good striker. We're going to need some midfielders, aren't we?
I'd like to see, the two lone midfielders that we had. I'd love to see them back. I don't know if we've got a chance of buying Connor Ronan, possibly. I think he's the one that maybe we would have a chance of getting permanently. I don't think there's no chance of getting Salisbury Hall. But
I think we're going to get lots of players.
Maybe on loan again. And Taylor Moore. Yeah, Taylor Moore would be amazing. In fact, sack off Ben Hennigan. Taylor Moore.
Yeah, you really
he's next level, yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of players at Bloomfield Road next season that we've probably never heard of. That Neil Critchley knows.
This season, really.
Yeah,
we didn't even were at the start of this season either.
Knows about. You know what I mean? Curtis Jones from Liverpool. We need to buy him. I don't know much about him, to be honest. Hey, Monkey Clements. Hello,
Hi,
Monkey. How you doing? It's lashing it down with rain up in Newcastle. You said it was sunny before Toonami, but it's obviously gone off again. It's not raining here. It's still sunny. It was raining this morning.
Back on the subject of loan players, they've changed the goalposts a little bit with if a club has had players out on loan and they've signed, like, say, Leicester had Dewsbury Hall with us, if they've returned now to their parent club, so Dewsbury Hall's gone back to Leicester, they could actually play him now, even though he signed on loan for us until the end of the season, because our season's been curtailed. They're allowed to call on those players, but only they're subject to a lot of conditions. Only if they're needed, if they couldn't make up a full quota, a full squad without them, and they've got to give priority to their under 23s and their academy. But if they've got a thin squad, basically they can, and they haven't been on loan to more than one club. There's a lot of different caveats, but that's good really for the players who've gone out who might have I think Birmingham City have got 3. They've been on loan in League 2. That they can call upon now, so whether they'd want to or not. But
Monkey Clements says, what teams do we think will come down from the Championship? Well, I think Barnsley are looking in probably the most. It's very tight down there. It's really, really tight at the bottom of the league. I mean, Luton Town, who are looking nailed on, are starting to get it together. Hull City are winning today. Middlesbrough are winning together, which could kind of put Huddersfield and Stoke into the bottom. Wigan, they could go.
Wigan are second in the form guide. The form guide's actually really interesting in the Championship at the moment. Leeds are top, Wigan are second, Derby are third. At the bottom of the form guide were Hull City, who won today. Or they won or they are winning.
They're winning 2-0.
Bristol City, Preston actually. Yeah, Preston are third bottom in the form guide, so
good.
That's a shame. And Middlesbrough, but obviously they're winning. They've got a change of manager, so. Yeah, it's
so yeah. I think Barnsley. I don't know whether Luton can get out of it, but they are starting to put a bit together.
Yeah, Luton are 9th in the
Could
form
be
guide.
Stoke. Could be Stoke.
They're up there in the form guide too.
Are they? Oh, they're up there. It's a tough one. All the teams at the bottom are playing really well.
Who do you want coming up from the League 2 playoff final? We've got Exeter and Northampton. So neither of those particularly attractive prospects for next season. Northampton definitely not attractive. But I'll make the best out of any trip. You know that.
Well, I didn't know.
Exeter, I think, is a lovely city. I'd like the opportunity to explore Exeter. I think go and stay down there for the weekend and see what's about there.
Mr. Moley says, talking of configuration, did you know that Major League Baseball states that grounds must all be in the same direction? The line from home to second base should be east to northeast.
Well, that is interesting.
I didn't know that.
Bit of feng shui there.
Conor Moore is writing a book about procrastination, but
facts.
he's going
to
finish it later.
Oh,
Mr. Molly
good.
says he's learning from the best. Toonami says, one minute it's sunny, the next the rain comes. It's been that kind of day.
Yeah, it's been like that for a few days, really.
Yeah, we've had a few like rainy days, but mainly it's sunny, really sunny in Blackpool.
Yeah, Norwich Man United live tonight on BBC One at 5:30.
Yeah, we might have take a look at that. Norwich versus Man United.
Oh, we might be shopping.
David Skull says 3 moles are going down a tunnel. The one behind says, I think I smell molasses.
Oh!
Molasses. Monkey Clements wants Northampton to come up because it's nearer. Yeah, it will be quite near for you, that one, won't it? That's not a bad sort of like local kind of game.
To David Skulls from Old Joke. We don't have the answer to your configuration.
Well,
we're not getting any nearer
that. Is it south to north? Is that what it is? Is it the fact that the ground lies south to north? Maybe that's our guess anyway. It's south to north.
There's been fewer positives in the coronavirus testing in the league. There's been 3 positives at 2 clubs in the Championship, but none in League One and League Two this week.
Boiling.
Yeah.
It's getting hotter, yeah.
And the players who they've got to self-isolate, obviously they're the ones who are, but they're sort of not really saying about the rest of the squad, so it's all a bit of an odd situation, really. So yeah, Monday is the League Two playoff final. So if you're interested in that,
are they playing that at Wembley?
Exeter Northampton, I believe so.
But nobody there. It'd be odd, won't it? It'd be hard to have
odd.
a playoff game and nobody there. Fancy making the playoffs and you can't go to it.
Leeds, I don't know if you've seen this week, they've had cardboard cutouts. You can have a cardboard cutout of yourself made to go in the stand, and there was someone was complaining because there was a cutout of Bin Laden in there, but that's been removed now. So I don't know what they were thinking there.
That's a bit of a strange one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Toonami TV wants Fleetwood to get promoted because of Joey Barton. If not, to be Portsmouth, a big club for that division. Well, I suppose Ben will be happy with that one, Toonami TV.
Yeah, look, I'd love it to be Portsmouth. I want to get rid of them. I don't want to go.
Let's just have a quick check on the scores on the doors. Where are we up to? Let's have a look at today's football.
Here we are. He's got the answer. The Old Bloomfield had a players' tunnel emerging from a stand that ran behind a goal rather than down the side.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it did. You see that little tunnel coming out of the south, didn't it?
I didn't know that was so rare.
Yeah, most come out in the middle, don't they? Which we obviously do now as well. But yeah. Let's have a look at the scores. Hull are still 2-0 up in 3 minutes of extra time. Leeds are still winning 1-0. Middlesbrough are winning still 1-0. 4 minutes in, and Wigan and Blackburn are still 0-0.
Oh, come on, Blackburn.
We can go to the Bundesliga, if anyone's interested in that. Union Berlin are beating Dusseldorf 2-0. Bayer Leverkusen are beating Mainz 1-0. Hoffenheim 4-0 up against Borussia Dortmund, away from home. Dortmund, Borussia Mönchengladbach 1, Hertha Berlin 0, Frankfurt 3, Paderborn 1, Augsburg 0, RB Leipzig 1, Freiburg 4, Schalke 0. They seem to be playing bad Schalke, don't they? Werder Bremen 5, Köln 0.
5-0? Wow.
Yeah, 5-0. And Bayern Munich are winning 2-0 at Wolfsburg.
Oh, wow.
Now, Atletico Bilbao have beaten Mallorca 3-1 in the Spanish Liga.
Smithy says we'll celebrate if the Train Spotters, Charlton, drop out of the Championship. Oh, no. I feel we're friends with Charlton. We like Charlton. We had a weird season. Do you remember that season where they battered us and then we battered them? It was really, really odd. Not in a Millwall kind of battering.
We even got Jose Riga, didn't we, from Charlton? He came in a blaze of glory, and it didn't quite work out that way, sadly. The Riga Revolution at Blackpool, but he came from Charlton.
I wouldn't mind going to Charlton next season. So I'm not a massive fan of London, but Charlton's okay.
They seem a very sort of like a nothing.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, they haven't got.
I don't think Nick's here. I'm allowed to say that. I might like Ipswich. So inoffensive.
Yeah, inoffensive. Well,
tomato soup.
Yes, tomato soup. Toonami says, when do we think fans will get back into stadiums? He's predicting October. What does this do for a League One club like Blackpool if your season is rumoured to start in September?
I don't see why we wouldn't be allowed back in September.
They have said that they think they're going to be allowed to allow season ticket holders in, aren't they? There's going to be enough space for seasiders to be socially distanced.
September's still 2-3 months away, so I think. But if you're already opening pubs and you can go to the pub and there's enough room in the stadium to social distance, I think we should be all right by September, barring a second wave.
Conor Moy says, during the World Cup in Brazil, the England team visited an orphanage. It was so heartbreaking to see their sad little faces with no hope.
Says Joe, age 6. Oh dear.
Yes, of course.
There's
sorry, I get it now. The twist on
There's a Brazil thing players on Amazon Prime as well, following the Brazil team in a cup competition. So that might be worth a watch as well.
Well, I'm looking older today, and Jane is looking younger. That's really good. That's good. Thanks for that, Ian. I really good. Looking older today. Oh, I've not been so well actually overnight, so that's probably I think I got a bit of food poisoning yesterday from I had a bad night.
We've been watching that Jim Henson thing on Netflix, which is really good, that we've been really enjoying, which is called The Dark Crystal, which is all about, people, well, these evil creatures called the Skeksis, just getting the essence from people by killing them, and so they can live forever. So, maybe I'm a secret Skeksis. That's why I'm looking younger today.
Yeah, she's sucking the life out of me.
Maybe that's why you're not feeling so well.
Maybe.
Taking your essence overnight.
I was really barfing last night. It wasn't very good. Mr. Molly says,
thanks for putting that out, Ian.
Remember when Billy Eyre moved his home dugout to the east? Yes, I guess he went onto the other side, didn't he?
And showed he could run past the south paddock after emerging from the tunnel and G up the crowd. Great man. Hard as bloody nails. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he sat on the other side, didn't he? It was very, very weird. He went out of his dugout so he could sit a bit higher up. Did he kind of sit on sat quite high up, didn't he, on the other side, if I remember rightly? What was the first Blackpool game attended? Well, Jane will remember, but I was taken by my dad, when I was little. I was 3 or 4, so that was the first Blackpool game. But I used to go with my dad, and it was only like special occasions. We just used to maybe go once or twice a season. I didn't really get my first season ticket, until I was, until I started working. Really, that's when I started getting really into the season ticket buying. I'd never had a season ticket. I just went to the odd game with our mates from school and that, but didn't get my season ticket until I started working. But you remember your first game?
My first game I attended, it was Blackpool versus Halifax Town in April 1991. We won 2-0 or 2-1. Because I got into football in Italian 90. I'd never watched a football match before Italian 90, and that was it. That sort of got me hooked. So I started following Blackpool in the Gazette and on teletext, as was in those days. And so I used to see all the, everything. We used to get the Gazette every day, so I knew who the players were. And at that time, we had Graham Carr as manager, and he was just like doing terrible. It looked like we might be getting relegated. And then Billy Eyre came in, and then, we had the resurgence, and obviously Dave Bamber came in, and we got Tottenham in the cup, and it was all just so exciting. And then we made the playoffs that year, and that was my first. So that was, I kept badgering, can I go to a game? Can I go to a game? Can I go to a game? And I knew who Halifax were because I picked that one because Halifax had played Manchester United in the cup earlier that season, I think the League Cup. So I sort of thought, well, I'll know who a few of their players are as well. So I picked that Halifax game because Manchester United, there wasn't a lot of football coverage in those days. So you could listen to the Manchester United matches on the radio when they were in the European Cup Winners' Cup, because English teams had just been allowed back into Europe that season as well. So that was my first match against Halifax Town.
It's Frey Bentos food poisoning. No, it was actually chippy tea, wasn't it? We had a chippy tea.
We did have a chippy tea.
But no, she's not been feeding me mushrooms.
Not quite sure whether it's food poisoning or maybe a little bit of heat stroke, because it is very hot. Very hot. So
Toonami says he believes all fans should be allowed to go back into stadiums, not just a certain few. If it's not safe to have all fans back in, delay it until everyone to get in. Well, yeah, it's a funny time, isn't it? Yeah.
I know. I see what you mean, because I was reading something that annoyed me actually about, will one fan from every club be allowed in? I'm thinking, well, that's not fair. How would you decide on that? But I think you've got to start somewhere. It's like with the pubs opening. It's everyone can't go back to the pub, but you can start going back to the pub, and it's just like gradually. You've got to start gradually integrating people back into society. You can't do it all at once, because that's just not. It's too dangerous.
Cos Vlogs Benner said, has Jay missed any games this season away from home? Well, the answer is no, other than the ones that we can't attend. He loves the way we show the day through the trains and the pubs and inside the ground better than anyone I watch.
Oh, thanks, Ben. That's
Ben.
Lovely.
In fact, an interesting fact for you, I don't think Jane missed a match for 13 seasons, did you?
Yeah, since when I started work in
13 years, never missed.
96, I think I got my first job. From then onwards, I didn't miss a game for 13 years because I could afford to go and I wanted to go, so that includes like friendlies and. That's
a heck of a record. Yeah, I mean, even this year you went to Carlisle, didn't you? She went to them all. So.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was glad for it.
We
to
did
finish,
everything
actually.
Carabao Cup and what's the other cup called? The what is it? Something paints.
I ain't got my head around what the cups are called yet.
No.
But no, it's just what I enjoy doing. It's just filming my day, really. It's something that I agreed to do it for Lee last summer because he didn't do the away game, so I thought, well, I'll go along, and it's sort of a way of getting me back into going back to the Blackpool matches. Really, having that to do and having the blog, I feel like I've got to go to the matches to keep that content coming, but it's good because it keeps me going, and I want to go and. You know.
It just took its toll on you this year, didn't it? It took you. Simon Grayson took its toll on you.
Not to the stage where it's like, well, I can't. Well, yeah, I actually was getting to the stage where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I really didn't want to go to Portsmouth. I didn't want to go to Reading.
Ian R's first game in the mid-60s was the FA Cup versus Birmingham City. He remembers they lost 2-1.
Wow.
I think my first one was, I think my dad took me to an Arsenal game when we came back, and I can just remember him throwing me up and down in the air because I was only little, but I can't quite remember it. I just remember the noise and the sound, and I just remember looking across at the cop, and it was all like black, and you could see like cigarettes being lit up inside. And I didn't know it was like just a standing cop. You couldn't tell from the south to the north. It looked like a big stand with people sat in it for some reason. It was weird. I went with my mates from school, and we went on the cop, and it was the first time I'd ever been on. I couldn't believe it was all like standing, big massive terrace. Mr.
Moley, yes, I was an away coach regular in those days. Yeah, when I was living in Blackpool, so from the sort of mid 90s, early 90s, mid 90s to the when I moved away in 98, I used to get the club coaches to the matches.
Jim Heaton said his first game was the 7th of September 1964 against Leeds, and Poole won 4-0.
Wow, that sounds great.
Wow.
4-0, wow.
Beating Leeds 4-0. Davy Scholl's first game, Poole versus West Brom 70-71. We won, only won that season. Oh, wow. You were the lucky charm.
Charlton, this is a Train Spotters answer to the Train Spotters. Charlton geezer found a derelict locomotive and spent dollars restoring it. Called it the Attic. In South Bermondsey, they've never lived it down, hence Charlton Train Spotters.
Oh, well. It kind of sticks then, doesn't it? On just that on one thing.
Bless.
Which football team has nailed their formation?
The Hammers.
The Hammers. Connor. Honestly, obviously bred from the same stock as Mr. Moley. Toon Army CV stadium holds 52,000. It could be risky, that's for sure. I will back next season as a season ticket holder. Yeah. I mean, it's a massive stadium, innit? 52,000. It makes you wonder if you're trying to keep this coronavirus. It all depends on if they get this cure for it. There's some human trials, I think you were saying.
Yeah,
are coming in. So hopefully, we might see. We might see them find a cure for the coronavirus.
When the risk's low enough, really, isn't it? Mind you, they had these European matches when, getting people coming over from Spain, weren't they?
Mr. Moley was 31st of March, 1975. First game home to West Brom, lost 2-0. Before that, my mum would only allow my dad to take me to Central League games, given the regular crowd trouble at Bloomfield Road.
Yeah, the 70s. I'm glad I missed the 70s.
Well, that was the Kevin Olsen stuff and all that, wasn't it? It's terrible. But there was a lot of, there's not as much football violence now. I know it's still, people meet outside the outside of the football grounds now, don't they? Arrange to meet up and stuff, but it's very strange.
No, I've really only ever seen one spot of trouble in 30 years watching Blackpool. That's kind of my own fault for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I remember I used to drive my dad's taxi, and I got some fans in, some Premier League fans, and they were giving me, they're giving me a bit of sticks of taxi driving, who do you support then? And they were waiting for me to say either Man United or Liverpool, and I'd probably got my head kicked in, but I said I'm Blackpool, and immediately I said I was Blackpool. They went, "Oh, sorry to hear that, mate," and they were dead sympathetic with me and everything, and we love a true fan and all that, and it saved my life, I think, because they were really aggravated. They got in the taxi. I thought, oh my god, my dad used to have a bomb. I was driving it on. I thought, I'm going to get beat up here. But the minute I said Blackpool, they were like, oh, no problem. Bloody Blackpool fan, God, they were so amazed that I actually supported my local team, and the fact that I suffered being a Blackpool fan, they were quite sympathetic to me, really. It's torrential rain in East Lancashire at the moment. It's not come over this way. Maybe it's heading this way.
Hopefully it's gone from us over there, because we had it this morning, didn't we? How long it takes to get from here to there? Ben says, I remember a few years ago the League Two playoffs was like 6-5 between you and Luton and 6-5 between Exeter and Carlisle, and Fleetwood Bradford was 1-0 and Millwall Scunny 2-0. Massive difference. Yeah. Yeah. Playoffs are so exciting though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I'm jealous.
Really are. So Toonami says there is plans if the takeover goes through that St James's Park will be getting extended if the planning permission becomes because a problem. 85,000 all-seater stadium will be getting built just up the road.
Blimey.
Yeah, if they can't get planning permission there, you're going to build a new one, are you? 85,000. Well, I mean, you'd probably fill it in Newcastle. They're mad, aren't they? They really do get a lot of get amazing support in Newcastle. Oh, Ednam's here.
Hi.
No, the weather's not too bad in Telford then, Ednam. That's good. It's nice here. It's in East Lancashire towards Burnley. It's apparently raining. Let's have a look at these scores on the doors. Oh, they're all half time at the moment. Just on half times. Still the same. Hull are beating Birmingham 2-0. Leeds are beating Fulham 1-0. Stoke are losing to Middlesbrough at home 1-0. And Wigan and Blackburn are 0-0. James actually been pointing out that since these teams have come back to empty stadiums, that there's a lot of away wins. Weird. And why do we think that is? Why do you guys think that is? And also, have any of you got anything we could mention to Gary Brabin, because we're interviewing him next week, so we need to know some stuff.
Any questions?
People have already mentioned about the fact he left before the home. I think he left before the homecoming, didn't he? He left after the Accrington Stanley game, and it was a bit weird with all the fans coming back. He'd been there all that time, and then all the fans are coming back, and he left. So we wondered why.
Oh, we've got the Telford Massive here too, from Telford.
Oh. The Telford Massive. Wow. Woohoo.
Yeah, I've just been reading about Gary Brabin's time at Tranmere in the book I've just finished.
Ryan's got to step away. No problem, Ryan. It's all right. We don't expect you to stay all the way through. Nice to see you as always, and keep safe, and best wishes to you and your girlfriend. Fiance. Sorry, yeah, fiance, yeah.
Just Brick football updates. Just obviously not a lot going on at the moment because the season's finished a couple of weeks ago. But just to remind you, if you're interested, I can recommend signing up for a membership at FC Brick Stand, which is only £5. For that, you will get a little Lego model of yourself made up, and they'll show you the design to make sure you're happy with it. You can choose what you're wearing and what your hair's like and everything. And then your little Lego you will be at all the home games next season, so you'll be able to see yourself on the FC Brick Stand feed. And also you'll have opportunities to go to away games as well. If you just like tweets, you can get on the bus to the away games as well. So it's definitely worth it for a £5. It's really good fun. And there was a 5-a-side competition a couple of weeks ago at Brick Stand, the same night as presentation night. The yellow team won. We didn't win. We were on the same team playing in the 5-a-side. Lego was, we didn't win. But Conor Muldoon won the Player of the Year and the Goal of the Season, so it's not really surprising there. He's the star of the team.
He's the star.
Interlocking, there's ground development going on there, so it'll be interesting to see what their ground looks like next season. And Studdersfield Sharks, they've just had the delivery of the wrong coloured turf for their stadium that they're building for next season. So
wrong coloured turf.
Yeah, so
what colour should it have been?
I don't know. I'm guessing it was a different shade of green. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their stadium looks like, because we haven't seen them. They're a new club coming into brick football for next season.
Studdersfield Sharks, yeah. Toonami TV was Brabin ordered the Gateshead FC job a few years back. Also asking what?
Offered
the Gateshead FC job a few years back. Also asking, was the news true? Yeah, well, we'll definitely ask him about that. It's another one to put on the list.
Yeah.
10% of you are from Telford today. That's all right. 10% of you. Wow. Yeah. Any trouble in Blackpool with crowds on the beach like Bournemouth? Well, we've had a few moans, haven't we, about people coming and leaving loads of garbage on the beach. It's unbelievable. The sea was so clear and so beautiful, and nobody been here for like 2 months, and it was just gorgeous. The promenade was spotless, and then all of a sudden, they said people can come back, and before you know it, there was litter all over the beach, and you think people just don't respect anything, and sad really. And then people say, we don't like coming to blooming Blackpool because it's a bit scruffy, but it isn't. It's the people that come here make it scruffy half the time.
Who's winning the League Two final? Well, don't.
Exeter.
We want Exeter. We do want Exeter, but Northampton are going to be on a high after that win, haven't they? Coming back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. You wouldn't bet against them, I don't think, would you? After that.
Tangerine Aid is here. I Aid. Mercy Mission here. Somebody love the taxi story. Yeah, it was honestly, it really was terrifying, and it was being a Blackpool fan that saved me from getting beaten up. I can assure you, definitely. If I'd have said like Liverpool or Man United, because you couldn't really tell what they were, it could have been curtains. But obviously, I'm Blackpool, so it saved me.
Just wondered what's the craziest thing any football fan has said or done to either one of you. I did get serenaded on the coach by. There used to be a lad who played the trumpet. We used to have a little band, and the guy who played the trumpet serenaded me with his trumpet on the coach to an away match the one time. So that was I'd say that was pretty crazy.
Nobody's ever done anything like that to me. I don't think any football fans ever said anything. No, I'm afraid I have no story for you there, Aid, at all. Just nothing. Nick Muller saying Exeter. Yeah, Toon Armies confirmed that was offered, not ordered. Yeah, so he was offered. Gary Brabin was offered the Gateshead job. Well, we shall find out if he was.
Mr. Moley, the Newcastle attendances are a bit of a myth. One sellout at home in the past 3 seasons. Good support, but I question if they would regularly fill out an 85k stadium. There's a lot of people in it.
There's a lot in it, yeah. It's massive in it. You don't want that round your neck if you can't fill it, would you? The thing is, though, it's, when you go to Newcastle, it is such a great atmosphere. It's packed. It is quite packed if they're playing well, and you wouldn't want to spoil that atmosphere, would you?
Mr. Molly says, to be fairly, moving land a couple of blocks from the seafront and Blackpool can be extremely tatty indeed.
Oh, it can.
Well, everywhere's got their areas like that.
Central Drive in particular, and around Edgerton Square and up that end of Dixon Road, it's pretty bad around there.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, though. We love Blackpool.
Yeah. I mean, we're out of town, Martin Way, and it's really nice out here. It's beautiful, really. It's a lovely place to live. But yeah, I wouldn't like to live on Central Drive, that's for sure. But it has its own little community, Central Drive, and deals get.
Funny though, I always never felt, I've been to different areas. I lived in Walsall for a while, and I've been to lots of different places over the years, and I always feel safe everywhere I go in Blackpool, even Central Drive. I used to drink on Central Drive in the George before matches. So, yeah.
I used to walk home from town, funnily enough, in the 90s, and I used to walk, we used to go out in the Cotton Club in town and Revolution and that, and then I used to go, well, it was Brannigan's then, and then I used to walk like through town and down Central Drive and get a taxi at Streamline, because it saved me a load of money instead of going all the way around town. I used to walk down Central Drive all the time and never had any trouble, and that was at 2 and 3 in the morning. So I never even thought of it as scary, to be honest.
Smithy says, Lee, come over to the Millwall way of life. Put that famous lion on your chest, geese, and you'll be protected forever. We are clandestinely.
Yes, well, they certainly are. They certainly are.
Another problem
it's a long way to go, though, for home matches. Millwall, Smithy, it's a long way.
I just can't get my head around. What I don't like about London is the travelling, the tube. I can't get my head around it at all. I managed it when I went down for the Olympics. Went to Wimbledon for the tennis. I managed that because there was loads of people at Euston saying, and loads of signs saying, if you're going to Wimbledon to watch the tennis, you need to get this train, and it told you exactly what you needed to do. But just generally, I remember the first time I tried to do it on my own, I went down and tried to get the tube to Fulham, and just got on the wrong one. And thankfully I found some other Blackpool fans and just followed them, and that's what I do now. Every time I go to London, I'm always met at Euston, because my head just doesn't compute. I've been all the way to Inverness watching Blackpool. I've been all the way across bloody Europe to Latvia, but can I cope in London? No, I can't. So it's a big problem for me. I would like to conquer it, but it's we've all got to have things, haven't we?
Toon Army TV is asking, is Fleetwood Beach any good since you're local in Blackpool? I'm a big fan of the coast. We're blessed with it. Tynemouth, Cullercoats, Whitley Bay, Seaton, Sluice and Blythe. Well, to be honest with you, Fleetwood's, it's one of those places where you just never go, isn't it, really? It's just it's like the back end of Beyond somehow. It seems to be a long way to Fleetwood.
Go to the beer festival at the Marine Hall. Do pub crawls occasionally.
I've been on Fleetwood Beach for years and years.
Any time on the beach,
think it's quite a nice beach. I don't think it's a bad beach, Fleetwood. But
I'm not sure I've ever been on it.
no, it's not. It's not somewhere.
It's not something you go to Fleetwood for, really.
No. Tangerine Aid said he was once stopped by a group of Leeds fans in Southampton offered a swig of their whiskey when they knew I wasn't a local but from Blackpool. They got a second swig. Yeah, honestly, people have such an affection for Blackpool. It's quite amazing, really. You know, people do have an affection, and we saw that when we were in the Premier League, how much we became everybody's second team, really. Unlike any other team, really. You know, Burnley are kind of up there, but people don't have that affection for Burnley as a second team like they did for Blackpool. It was just the way we played and the way we are.
I suppose there was the Swansea thing, wasn't there, that was a bit weird. That it's one of those memories that I actually thought had happened to me. It's like these people who always, everyone who said that they were at the Barnet game and they weren't. But the Swansea game, when we came out and the Swansea fans were coming out the pubs giving us a guard of honour, the fans, as we were walking back to the station after we beat them 6-3 during the Perfect 10 on our way to promotion. And I thought that I'd seen that. I thought that I'd seen the Guard of Honour, but I actually went back and read what I wrote. I found my Traveller's Tales that I wrote at that match, and that didn't actually happen to me at all. It was and what happened to me, which I had completely forgotten about, was Swansea fans were coming up to us saying, "God, you play like that every week. You're amazing." And we're like, yeah, actually, we do. But I didn't actually see the Guard of Honour. But it's one of those things that you hear the story so often that you think it happened to you. And I did mention it that some people had said that had happened to them on the day, but I hadn't actually seen it. It's just funny that. So that was an amazing thing, really, that you wouldn't imagine happening.
Sharky from Toonami TV has defended Newcastle's honour by saying they haven't packed St James's Park as fans have grown tired of Mike Ashley's lack of ambition and care. If a takeover happens, 85,000 plus will pack out the ground. And you don't blame fans keeping away. Well, I suppose you are a little bit like us and the Oysters, aren't you? A lot of people are refusing to go and put money in his pockets because you really hate him. So
yeah, but will people not similarly stay away if this guy takes over because he's, if he's been the things he's linked with doing, it's it's kind of still not good, is it?
Now, some of the stuff you've heard about him is a bit strange. You don't know whether they're true or not. But at the end of the day, if he starts bringing loads of money into Newcastle and he starts signing great players and it's money no object, people will just forget all the bad stuff, really. Well, it's at the end of the day, we're just football fans. We want to see good players and good football and win things and win trophies and all the rest of it. And unfortunately, money speaks in that Premier League, doesn't it? You've got to be big to compete with the big boys.
Mr. Moley says Fleetwood Beach is always deserted. It isn't really a seaside resort, to be honest, although the pitch and putt courses are okay. Oh, yeah, I like a bit of pitch.
It's not really.
I like a bit of crazy golf, me. I love a bit of crazy golf.
People tend to go for Fleetwood for the Fleetwood Market sort of thing, don't they? That's tradition.
Is that still there? The Freeport?
Well, they got Freeport.
Or did they shut it?
No, they still have the Fleetwood Market as well. It's just a lot of people who come to Blackpool will take the tram down to Fleetwood.
Chippies. It's good for chippies, isn't it? Nick Muller, hi Nick, would you rather wear a Leeds shirt or a Preston shirt for the day if you lost a bet? Well, Leeds. Obviously, and got nothing against Leeds particularly.
Not really, no. No, Leeds
had a quite nice night out there the one time.
Leeds are all right with those. Preston, I couldn't wear it, honestly. Oh, no. Nah.
don't like white shirts, really. I mean, it's like Preston Bolton. It's not good, is it?
Ednam says, I think every town in the country today has its bad areas. Even in my hometown of Lytham, Telford has some notorious areas also, which I try and avoid going to. Yeah, I mean, everybody has the bad. There was like a TV show on that they did, 999, What's Your Emergency? And it was a disaster for Blackpool. Yeah. And people say, oh, Blackpool's so bad and all that. And I used to say, but yeah, but you don't see that. I was saying to people, if you go around with the emergency services and you're going around with the ambulance and you're going around with the fire brigade, you're going to see all the bad things that you wouldn't see in real life. And they're not going to show a TV documentary where the fire brigade's rescuing a kitten from a tree, are they? It's not, it's just no football at all. It's not a programme. So they had to sensationalise it. And it did a lot of damage to Blackpool, that show. And it was a shame because before that, we'd had a few good shows on. The Blackpool one, in particular with what's he called? David Tennant was really, really good. It was brilliant. Just when we were supposed to be getting the casinos, that was.
Birmingham pulled one back at home to Hull.
Oh.
Mr. Moses highlight Fleetwood is the ferry to Knott End. No, that's harsh. The chippies are good.
Yeah, so going back for Birmingham City. Oh, well, Hull are in a bit of, they look like they're going down. I thought they were going to turn it around today, so could be dodgy. It depends on how how strong they are mentally, Hull, because they've not been playing very well.
Ian says, in my last couple of years at grammar school in Newport, Shropshire, there were 3 out of 25 lads supported Blackpool. Even better average. Oh, that's great.
Wow, that is amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
Oh, Toon Army would actually love to come and watch a Blackpool and a Fleetwood game.
Yeah, we'd love to see
well, you can come as our guest. Sharky, definitely. We'll even get you a ticket to come and watch Blackpool.
Yeah,
How's that? That's a deal for you, yeah. So we'll get you a ticket to come and watch Blackpool, no problem.
Mike Ashley's made too many bad decisions. I think if the new takeover goes through, the fans will give them the benefit as they don't mess us around as long as they don't mess us around like Mike Ashley.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Well, it's just, I mean, we know very well, don't we, if you know, an owner treats the fans like, you know, you don't put up with it, do you?
Mr. Moll is saying that football fans just want someone to spend silly money. Morals don't come into it. Well, you know, that is a fact, isn't it? But, you know, I mean, look at City. I don't know much about the Etihad group, but I should imagine they've got some blooming dodgy things going on there as well. There was a book actually, because I interviewed Eamon O'Keefe, and he wrote a book about. He played in Dubai, didn't he? Was it Dubai he played in? He went over there, and the blooming prince of wherever was in love with him, and he had to escape. He was very close to getting killed. He managed to get away. It was in Saudi, wasn't it? Saudi, yeah. It's a good book, Eamon O'Keefe's book.
David Skull says, I did go to the Barnet game, but never say I did because no one believed you. Oops, bugger. Yeah, no, I definitely was there. I remember
Jane would be there.
One of the Chorley and Leyland lads actually he was diabetic and he collapsed on the terrace. So we were like leaving. Oh. We looked after him, but he was all right.
Mark Porter said he was once walking down Central Drive about 20 years ago. I was wearing a Blackpool shirt, but his mate had his Newcastle top on, and we happened to bump into some Sunderland fans who threatened because of it. Well, yeah, that's especially if there's only 2 of you and lots of them. I can imagine they were quite tough. Lytham Club Day can be a rough experience. Yes, it really can. Lytham Club Day can be terrible. Although we went to watch Kylie, didn't we, last year at the Lytham Festival, and it was really ace. Good. It was really good, and you know the video is down somewhere in the videos of our day. It was probably the first kind of bit of a kind of date that Jane and I went on. It was a magical night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was really, really good. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Kylie was amazing, and Sophie Ellis-Bextor as well, very good.
Oh, it would have been Club Day today, hence the rain. Yeah. Oh, would it? It would probably be okay actually because it's not been that rainy. It was just a quick brief shower for 20 minutes this morning. But upon that, they would have had quite a nice day for Club Day today.
Smithy says our estate here in Catford is so rough the Alsatians go around in pairs.
Oh my!
Do you know Basil Robbie, Smithy? He's a famous Blackpool fan from Catford.
Ah. Yes, Eamon O'Keefe in Saudi Arabia. Yes, it was Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it was. He was in a bad way then. The prince fell in love with him, didn't he? And it was like, it was pretty dangerous to have that sort of thing. And he managed to make an excuse that he had to go home, and he was coming back, and he just got on a plane and never went back. But he was getting really looked after by the prince. They were buying him cars and all this sort of stuff, and he said it was quite a dangerous time.
As much as it's welcome money for our club, I can speak for all fans. You want to see ambition, and we haven't seen that for over a decade. Yeah, I definitely do want to.
Yeah, we all want to see some sort of ambition, don't we? It's like, because we didn't see any ambition with the Oystons, although somehow they managed to get us in the Premier League. But I think
they didn't. Mr. Bellicon did.
Mr. Bellicon did, yeah. But they brought him in. You know.
Birmingham have equalised.
That's it. I knew it. I tell you, Hull, they might end up losing this, Hull.
Leeds are winning. That's good.
Leeds are winning 1-0. Middlesbrough still 1-0 up. So it's Birmingham 2-2 now, is it? All right. Well, that's
how's the live table
that's not good for Hull. I've actually been on the Hull sites because, of course, we're doing this interview with Gary Brabbin, so I wanted to find out about them, and they're all like saying, telling to come back and play, you know, because we need players like him, 100%ers and all this sort of stuff. They're not happy at Hull at all. They're really not happy.
We need a goal for Blackburn that would pop them up into sixth and put them 3 points clear of Preston, who lost this morning, if we haven't mentioned it for a good 10 minutes.
2-0 to Leeds United. So Leeds United have gone 2 up. So
yeah, they're top.
Looks like they're strengthening themselves at the top, and it looks like they're going to go up Leeds, which will be interesting, won't it, if Leeds go up.
Yeah. Brentford are in third. That's an interesting one because they've got the new stadium next season, of course.
Well, they have, haven't they? Yeah, that was quite nice. The Oysters were greedy. Yeah, they were greedy. And I could just never understand why they did what they did, because they had a great chance to go back up and get even more money from the Premier League and get another load of parachute payments, and they just chose to take all the money out of it. I couldn't quite. I still can't quite get my head over.
Smithy says when Leeds came to town, my mate Big Mick's granny got involved. Gosh,
Big Mick's granny's art.
I've actually seen that before. Sort of older ladies getting involved in a bit of aggro. Yeah, Preston, I think, or Burnley, was it? Burnley was always a bit hairy.
Yeah, the players, I agree, David. The players and Ian Holloway got full promotion. Well, I actually think the fans got us promotion as well. I thought we sang our way. We really did get behind the team. We were so passionate back then. It was amazing noise at Bloomfield Road, and they kind of lifted the team up. And I think Holloway did an amazing job of motivating players who were just a bunch of nobodies, weren't they? Really, you'd never heard of any of them, and he did an amazing job. But Bellicon did get Charlie Adam, and
he did put 5 million in, didn't he?
He did put 5 million in, which the Oysters would have never done. But like I've always said, that we wouldn't have had Bellicon if he'd have not had the Oysters, because it was them that brought him in. So, but she's just weird how they took all the money out. It's a shame, really.
But it's in the past.
Yeah, it's
gone.
I don't
want to talk about them anymore. Mr. Moley says Richer Than God by David Conn is a great book about the changes at Man City. Conn is a Guardian journalist who did a lot to keep the Hillsborough victims at the top of the agenda. I'll add that to the list, Mr. Moley.
Yeah.
Tsunami says Newcastle Leeds next season could be a tasty one. That's a bit of rivalry between us and them. Yeah, on the same train line as well. Well, it was my favourite train line, that one, from Birmingham up to Newcastle. It's a lot of football fans on there.
Brentford beat the Baggies this week. Yeah,
Ooh.
They did. Brentford could get automatic.
Yeah, that'd be great story. Well, sort of a great story for them.
That would be bad for West Brom, wouldn't
it? Again, that would be a weird one, because the fans haven't had the chance to say goodbye to Griffin Park, and they wouldn't have the chance to see the promotion. So that would be not that I'm sure they'd still love it.
Yeah, because where are West Brom now? How close is it, West Brom? It's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only a few points.
Because West Brom are on the last year of parachute payments this year, so they're desperate to get back in the Premier League.
5 points.
They're going to be in a bad way without the. There's 5 points. I still think they're going to get up West Brom. I can't see Brentford catching that.
Derby are winning. That puts them on level points with Preston. If they can just score another couple of goals, they'll overtake them on goal difference.
No, Derby won.
Oh, has it finished?
Yeah, they won 2-1.
Right.
Full time. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's good.
They're all putting pressure on. They're all putting pressure.
Swansea
lost, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, Millwall as well. Actually, only 2 points behind Preston on the same goal difference.
Yeah,
so we'll be rooting.
That's a shame. That Smithy, we're all rooting for Millwall here, aren't we? Then we're all rooting for the Wall. Tsunami says he misses Blackpool in the Premier League, and honest spending very little money. Yeah, dodgy rep. Well, absolutely.
Well, we'd have stayed up if we'd spent some money.
Well, we might have done. It's not a guarantee. There was the thing with Shay Given coming in as a keeper, where it was £1 million for the last 11. I think City wanted 11 million, $1 million for him, but they wouldn't pay it, and we had to keep Kingston in, which was a disaster. But really, I totally agree with you. The referees. The decisions against Blackpool in that Premier League were unbelievable. They were just so bad. There were so many bad decisions, and any one of those decisions would have kept us up. Particularly the penalty at Bloomfield Road against Manchester United was unbelievable how they didn't give that as a penalty. We'd have gone 3-0 up, and we'd have never lost.
Mr. Moley asked, but did Owen save us from extinction in '87? Don't get me wrong, I have no time whatsoever for the O's. I think any of us have, but we were in a right mess towards the end of the '80s. Well, who knows?
Well, he seemed to live on that, the fact he saved us from extinction forever, didn't he? It seemed to be his one thing, his only thing he could ever say. He saved us and all this sort of stuff, but he didn't save us and do a good job with it somehow, did he? Not really.
Maybe, well, for what reason did he do it? Was he playing a longer game?
Don't know.
Alan Smith hasn't heard of Basil Robbie. Oh, well, he's a big Blackpool fan, very involved in the club and the movement to get the club back and the supporters' trust. So he's brave not being worn around here, Jane. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Shay Given, a legend at Newcastle. Yeah, I think he possibly would have kept us up. Shay Given, he was a great goalkeeper, wasn't he? And we just had that chance. We had all the goalkeepers injured, and they just had to. They had the chance to bring in Shay Given, and they didn't take it. It was £1 million, but if they'd have stayed up, it was another 40 million, wasn't it, for another season in the Premier League? It would have paid for itself 10 times over. Toonami's saying that his spelling isn't bad, it's his fast typing on his phone. He blames YouTube.
Rob's saying he thinks the club only cost him £1, took on a load of debts, but took on all the land too, so it was a good deal for him.
I think it was, yeah. There's a lot of things in business where you can write debt off against other profits, and although they say there's always those tax, the tax advantages to having something that's losing money, so I never see it as he actually lost money. I always think he just avoided a lot of tax payments, and no, I don't think he was ever good for Blackpool. And he had his mad dreams, didn't he, with his super stadium and his sliding pitch, which I don't know whether he would have actually done that.
Did that have like a pool underneath it or something?
I don't know. It was going to slide in and out, wasn't it? I mean, it looked amazing, but unfortunately, he went to prison, didn't he? And that was the end of that.
So how's everybody doing? Have you been watching the football yourselves? Obviously, Smithy's been watching Millwall on the iPlayer, but have you been watching generally the Premier League? Will you be watching the FA Cup this weekend? We haven't watched anything, have we, yet?
No.
Mr. Moses hasn't heard of Basil Robbie. Is that even possible? He's a good lad despite going to the wrong uni.
Did he go to the wrong uni? Which uni did he go to?
He went to Cambridge.
Okay.
Taught me a lot of big words over the years. Did you go to the other one, Mr. Moley?
Oh, no, was that Oxford? Or?
Oh, no, we did go to Oxford.
Did Basil go to Oxford?
I'm confused now. He went to one of them. Did he go to Oxford?
Well, one or the other.
Yeah. I thought he was Cambridge.
Here we go. Let's have a look. Do you have a really memorable Blackpool game? Oh, there's so many, and there really is. I mean, obviously the Premier League games are all memorable, but before that, it was the playoff finals under Billy Eyre. There was the disasters of not getting up automatic. There was the Darlington. When we got promotion at Darlington with Sam Ellis, which was an unbelievable night. It was unbelievable. It was probably one of my greatest memories before obviously Cardiff, and I think it takes a lot of beating the Cardiff playoff final, to be honest. It was an amazing day.
Again, it's a weird thing that, you say memorable games, and I always talks about the Forest away game in the playoffs, but then when we came to watch it, for the first time I'd watched it on telly, because I was there at the night when we came to watch it the other week, it wasn't how I remembered it at all. It was because we were just terrible. The DJ Campbell was terrible, and then all of a sudden it just exploded to life with the substitution, but it wasn't how I remember it. It was weird. I suppose it's a different, you have a different experience watching it on telly to actually being there. I remember being there, and I was a little bit annoyed because everyone was standing up, and I don't really like standing up during matches because I'm quite short. It makes it difficult for me to see. But I remember standing up for the whole 90 minutes and being happy at the end, obviously. But yeah, it's a memorable game, but your memory kind of plays tricks on you sometimes.
Tsunami says he'd like to think Blackpool's ambitions next season is automatics, or is that too much? Well, it would be a dream. It would be a dream. I mean, we don't really know what this league's going to be like next season because there's so many clubs in trouble. There might not even be I don't know how many clubs are going to survive this coronavirus. I think Blackpool
I'm
lucky.
Surprised more haven't gone yet. You haven't really heard of many clubs going.
No, they haven't. No, but it just makes you wonder. There's quite a few struggling, isn't there? So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the leagues, whether there's a restructuring, and it has been muted, that they might restructure the leagues. And
yeah, I'm interested in the North West Counties League because the Isle of Man and Bury are they've applied to come into the North West Counties League, so that'll be interesting to see. I know there's going to be sort of teams like moving across, at the same level. So I'd love to see Bury and the Isle of Man in there. Isle of Man would be amazing. You imagine that? What a way that'd be.
Yeah, it's the Isle of Man. Yeah. Mark Potter says Coco lives up the road from him, so Carl's up there. As he always brings back bad memories when I see his Range Rover about the Ribble Valley. Yeah, is that where he lives?
You just kind of want to forget that he exists, don't you? Really? You don't want to see that.
How did he go on without suing the club for his money?
I don't know. I think all the court cases have stopped. Maybe that.
Oh, but Hull have gone up. Hull have gone
yes.
3-2 up on Birmingham.
Good.
Rob says yes, automatic.
Yeah. Well, it would be great.
Middlesbrough 2-0 up
for
at
me,
Stoke.
I've never seen Blackpool win automatic promotion. It's always been the playoffs, and I love the playoffs. It makes it a little bit more exciting.
Stoke are a dodgy club, aren't they? They're sliding into it.
I like having our day at Wembley and doing it that way.
Yeah, Alan Smith was gutted for Blackpool being relegated from the Premier League. Man United didn't need the points in that last day, and Owen couldn't hit a band with a barn door before that game. I know it was unbelievable, wasn't it? When Michael Owen came on, and it was incredible. I was at that game. It was surreal. I always say it was surreal. All the United fans were cheering United on, and then when everything came through that the Blackpool going to get relegated, the whole stadium was cheering Blackpool on. All the United fans started cheering Blackpool on. It was quite incredible.
Ice is back with us, who was here last week, saying football's been awful today. We've been quite enjoying it, really, with Preston losing this morning. So it's not been all bad. Not been all bad at all. We've got the FA Cup to come tonight, so. Oh, you did get to Cambridge, yes. Basil Robbie.
Oh, Mr. Molly was at Oxford.
Oh,
very good. Rangers went on an unbeaten tour of the Soviet Union in the 1940s and played the mighty Moscow Dynamo in 1965 during the tour of the UK, but they played with 12 men and told them who to play and not to. Oh.
With 12 men?
12 men? There's some weird things go on in Scotland for Scottish football. We could have stayed up in the Premier League if the payment the club received from promotion had been spent on players as it should have been. Well, yeah, and we could have got back up as well, couldn't we? There's a few times that player that scored, I can't remember his name now, the guy that scored the winner for West Ham, it was Holloway's big target. He wanted him, didn't he? The Oysters wouldn't pay for him either. I think he's about 1.2 million, and Holloway wanted him, so he ended up scoring the winner that, West Ham got promoted on, so that was a bit disappointing. But even the season after, wasn't it? We were flying, weren't we? We were beating Leeds 5-0 and Middlesbrough 6-0, and we were flying, and there was some sort of fallout, and Holloway went. It was a shame. Tangerine said Oysters didn't want to pay the players Premier League wages. Would probably have been happy to become a potential rebound club like West Bromwich Albion. Even Charlie had to scrap for his promotion. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, but I thought we would have been a boing club, and I still think that for most clubs in England to be a boing club, to get back in that Premier League, it's probably better than actually winning the Premier League. It's such a massive celebration, and I would have settled for going up and down, but unfortunately we just went down and down and down.
Speaking about Scottish fans travelling to Europe, I'm reading in this book at the moment, which is Heartfelt by Aidan Smith, about, I didn't know this was a thing, about this guy who's a professional Euro fan. So he goes to watch a number of Scottish teams playing in Europe because he just likes going away and discovering the foreign cities.
Oh.
So that's quite interesting. You hear sort of ground hoppers, don't you, in non-league? But yeah, a professional Euro fan. That's
Jim Heaton has got to go. You stay safe as well, Jim.
Jim.
Thanks for coming along. Blackpool too big a club for League One. You should be pushing for Championship playoff places. Well, it was always the thing that Blackpool were too big for these lower divisions, but we've been stuck down in them for so many years.
We've never had that mentality that we're too big for anyone. I've never known. We were in Division 4 when I started going, but yeah, some. It's like the book I read by the Stoke fan who was always, couldn't believe they were playing Cheltenham and thought they belonged in the higher leagues, but no one belongs in a higher league.
No,
it's just
you are where you are. You are where you are,
and you are where you are for a reason as well.
Problems will hit the lower league clubs, says Mr. Moley, when the furlough scheme is phased out, but games still need to be played behind closed doors. Yeah, that could be a problem. Bright state of mind. Rob agrees it is the best way to go up, but it's a bit nerve-wracking though. Yeah, it is very nerve-wracking.
Paying for these coronavirus tests at the League 1 and League 2 clubs? Are there clubs having to pay for those tests? How's that working? Is the league? The league won't be paying for it, will they?
Ian says, are we going to have Division North and South again?
Maybe.
It could be for the travelling expenses.
Not a bad idea, to be honest. In fact, I'd be pretty pleased with that, really.
Yeah, it's some long
Not having to go to Portsmouth again. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think there has been a bit of talk about that, actually. It would, it's stop, because the world is going to change. We're not going to go back to how we were before. And I think if they maybe are potentially looking to restrict the movement a little bit, then yeah, I don't think that's particularly a bad idea.
Christy has just posted that Mark Palios was going to court to fight against Tranmere Rovers' unfair relegation decision. Is that still going? Is he still
they're
doing
not
that?
happy, are they?
No, they're not. And you know, we've said this a few times. We played Tranmere Rovers just before the season ended, and they were fantastic.
Something else we can ask Gary Brabin about, as he was there, wasn't it? Tranmere Rovers for a little while.
Oh yeah, we can ask him about Tranmere
about
Rovers.
that.
Yeah, it seemed to me that Tranmere were going to get out of it, and they were only down in that position really because of the trouble they'd had with the pitch earlier on, and I should imagine they are. But what can you do? You know, the season was ended, and somebody's got to go down, and you can't send teams down that are above them, and you know, just because they might have won. It's just, I don't know.
Rob's asking, has
Did they
anyone
not
seen
have a game in hand?
Who?
Tranmere. I think they had a game. Did
Yeah.
Tranmere have a game in hand as
they're
well?
not
So no, they're not.
Rob's asking, has anyone seen the Preston score? I was wondering how they got on today. Nobody's mentioned it yet.
Well, yeah.
I think they played this morning.
I'm not sure. Let me just have a little look. Preston 1 and Cardiff 3 was a full-time score, and that's not Preston out of the playoff places.
Is it really?
So it's made our day today. It's made this a wonderful Lee Charles TV at 3. We're all very happy that. Vazte, that was him. Yeah, he was the one that scored for West Ham, didn't he? And Holloway was really, really after him. 3-0 to Leeds United now. Oh.
They're on the way, aren't they? Smithy says, my mate was in the Clunk and Click with DJ Campbell. I think he was in for burglary. Rum lad, DJ. Yeah, wasn't he something to do with this? There was some scandal about, was it betting on football or something that he was involved with at the end of his career? So, which isn't allowed, of course. But yeah, he's great though. He came from the streets, didn't he? We
just loved him.
There's a Twitter account called something like Street Football, and it's about celebrating, players who came from there. They did a great video. I retweeted it the other day actually about DJ Campbell to the tune of Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, and it's all the highlights of his career. It's worth a watch. Yeah, a cracking player for us, Deej.
He was unbelievable for us. In fact, I don't think he ever hit the heights that he hit with us with anybody else, did he? It was unbelievable the way he played.
Get some good loan players from Leicester, don't we?
Yeah, Leicester seem to be a club we
tap into that a little bit.
Yeah, we do.
Mr. Morley says regionalisation of the lower leagues is a slippery slope, in my opinion. You could end up with Prem 1 and 2 and the rest regionalised with no promotion into the top 2 divisions. Yeah, I know it is. It is a little bit.
Chris D says, yes, he agrees with us. I take it you're a Tranmere Rovers fan then, but see you in the 21-22 season. Well, hope so. And actually, we're looking forward to going to the fan zone at Tranmere, which we missed on our away day, which would have, if we'd have probably gone there, you would have got a lot higher in the away day rankings. But of course, your pitch was really bad on that day. It was a shame. It was hard to play football, but you played brilliant. Tranmere played brilliant when they come to Blackpool, and I keep saying we'd love that Morgan Ferrier. Looks a really good player, very quick, and just scored a great goal at Tranmere and scored a good goal at Bloomfield Road. Very quick. Liked him a lot. Really like him.
You're talking about DJ Campbell there. It's quite interesting from carrying on from what we were saying before about how football fans can just sort of see past any, indiscretions from owners and players, and it does happen a lot. I remember when when Oyston got sent to prison, and it was just like, just kind of, you don't want to believe that people do things like that, and kind of think a lot of Blackpool fans were just like, oh well, no, obviously it's because he was denying what he'd done as well, and you kind of want to believe that they don't do things like that. And there's players who've done all sorts of things. I mean, Fleetwood know better than anybody. I think they've had a few characters there. They seem to be overlooking their past indiscretions.
Just gone through that Wigan have gone 1-0 up against Blackburn.
That's a shame. I mean, I do like Wigan, but we need Blackburn winning.
Well, I'm a little bit on the fence there, to be honest, because I don't like Blackburn Rovers either. I don't like Blackburn.
Wigan with a chance
I just
of
never
coming
like
down.
Blackburn Rovers, so not as much as I hate Preston, but I don't really like Blackburn Rovers. So if they don't make it as well,
Wigan,
that's
we might get Wigan coming down. Actually, I'd love that. I love Wigan. It's my favourite, my absolute favourite place in the whole world is Wigan. I just love it. Great pubs, great people, great quirky characters. I'd love, Yeah, in fact, yeah, Wigan can come down.
That's Lee Evans actually scored for Wigan. Flipping heck, he's normally Blackburn fans won't be laughing, but that's amazing. I didn't know Lee Evans was that good a footballer. I hope he'd be sweating and have to have about 3 shirts on if he's playing football. Lee Evans, won't he? Right, what have we got here? So Hull are still beating Birmingham 3-2. So it's all Leeds are going to win. Obviously, Middlesbrough look like they're going to win at Stoke. Where does that put Stoke? Because they were looking a bit in trouble. Stoke, even though they say they're in.
Yeah, they're a point. Huddersfield have got a game in hand on them, so if they win that, they'll overtake Stoke and come out of the zone.
Blimey, Stoker, yeah. Ooh.
It's not looking great for Barnsley or Luton, but Luton are on really good form.
Luton on a roll.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Well, we're coming up to
nice to watch
full
this.
time, aren't we?
Nice to watch all this as an observer and not be involved in the end of the season at all. It's very odd, isn't it?
It is very odd, yeah. It's weird to just not have any football at all. Is it true Blackpool are getting rid of the temporary stand and the ground will be level throughout?
I think it's all subjective. I think that's probably the plan, isn't it?
It is the plan,
forward,
yes. Oh, it's definitely the plan.
These things take time, obviously, don't they? But yeah, that would be.
There's been rumours about Back Henry Street properties being bought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all got to go.
They're demolishing a couple, aren't they?
I've said it many, many times. I'll say it again. If they got rid of all that corner, if they got rid of the whole corner from Central Drive and they just made a really nice, laid it out with trees and you had like a nice, I don't know, a TGI Fridays restaurant or something else there all in front of, and the east stand was the big stand, was the main stand, then we would have a cracking football ground then. If we had a bigger east stand, then we've got a west stand and like the front was then, coming, towards Central Drive, we'd have a super ground. We really would.
Mr. Moley says, I remember we took Lee Hughes on loan and most cheered him on. Yeah, I actually met Lee Hughes. He was a manager at Worcester City, player manager at Worcester City. And when I was at Chasetown, I met him and had a cup of tea with him in or a beer in the clubhouse. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, the thing is people are people at the end of the day, and sometimes people do, just because someone does a bad thing doesn't make them a bad person necessarily. But, obviously in the case of the Oystons, they were bad people. It wasn't just like one thing. It was just, Well, anyway, but I don't want to talk about them. Lee Evans is a good comedian, yes.
He is. He is at times. He's really funny. I remember there's one sketch where he's lost his keys and he keeps going back to the same drawer, just keeps going back to the same place, and that is so me, isn't it? Oh my god!
No, you got your Chipolo.
No. Yeah, Jane bought me a Chipolo for Christmas, which is like a little disc, and you can when you press it kind of calls your phone, or if you've lost your keys, your phone can ring your Chipolo. It's brilliant. You can always find
like
your keys.
A key ring on the key, so you can go into your phone and press something, and your keys will start ringing. So it's
we should be aiming higher than a TGI Fridays. They're a pretty big, well, something like that. You know what I mean? Some really nice. We haven't got a TGI Fridays in Blackpool. I was looking once. They were talking about bringing one in. I was looking at the cost of a franchise for a TGI Fridays, and they're a million quid to have a TGI Fridays. So they're pretty big.
I'm convinced there used to be one. What was it? There used to be sort of the big restaurant sort of at the front of the Winter Gardens, just a little bit further down that road there. What was that? It was something like that. Obviously wasn't TGI Fridays. No. I've got it in my mind.
Whereabouts are you talking?
Just on the road where the Winter Gardens is. You got
Church Street.
You got your Winter Gardens there, and then there was a restaurant sort of there, pretty much next to it.
Yeah, it was not a TGI Fridays. No. Nope.
Ian R says, I met Emlyn Hughes in the late 80s. I told him I remember him playing for the Pool. He said I wasn't old enough. Oh, Emlyn Hughes.
Tsunami TV saying Bloomfield Road is a nice stadium regardless. Yeah, it is, honestly. It's fit. It's fit enough for purpose, and it was okay for the Premier League, but it's just that obviously the stand on the east is still only a temporary stand, although it's all pile driven in, and it can be turned into a really nice stadium because that was a really nice stand because that was how it was built. It was built.
Fatty Arbuckles, yeah, that might have been it.
Oh, Fatty Arbuckles, yeah.
Mr. Melly says sounds great until you lose your phone. Yeah, but there's three things, isn't there? You've got your phone, you've got your keys, and your wallets. So as long as you can find one of the three,
yeah.
You've got, you can.
Yeah, you've got a little thing that goes in your wallet. You've got a thing that goes on your keys. So as long as you find one, if you find your car keys, you can find your phone and your wallet. If you find your wallet, you can ring the other two. It's a lot. Also, it's a life changer for me because I've spent so many hours looking for keys in this house, and especially on the taxi when I'm sat at home sometimes with the little machine that gives you a job. And it gives me a job, and I just can't find my taxi keys. Anyway, I've had to ring the office and say, I'm sorry, I have to take the job off me because I just don't know where my car keys are. And they've gone down the side of a settee or something, and I just can't find them.
Hard Rock Cafe, no, that's West Coast Rock Cafe, isn't it? No, that's across the road. I mean, actually, on where the Winter Gardens is, it's just on that block there. But I think it was Fatty Arbuckles. That does ring a bell, actually.
Yeah, we're not at a tea. I've been to TGI Fridays in Southampton. I've been to one in America. And I thought they were really good. A sort of a Frankie and Benny's, but sort of more.
Yeah, I have been. I think you just kind of get a lot of food in there. Terrible for veggies, apparently.
I'd like a Hard Rock Cafe. That would be really nice to have a proper Hard Rock Cafe.
Napper's mum's looking after you. She says, another fabulous afternoon. Hopefully he's feeling better soon. Lots of ice water. Yes, that's what I've said. Yes. Lots of water. So.
I've not been drinking it either. I've got it here, and oh.
We found the ice cube trays. We couldn't find them for ages, and they were on top.
I've been
of the
struggling a bit
now.
today. I've got to be honest. I'm holding up here, but I'm not so good. Alan
Smith says my polar bear once had a row with Steve McMahon. Swap words for 2 solid minutes. Was on the floor laughing. Good lad McMahon. Couldn't understand a Scooby what he was raging about. My polar bear.
Polar bear. Is that rhyming slang
for
polar bear? Smithy, honestly, we need a dictionary.
I used to have one, actually.
Cockney rhyming slang, yeah.
Toonami TV, thanks for a good stream this afternoon. I had run away. I go on daily walks. I have to take walks around the coast.
Yeah, well, we believe you're keeping fit and looking after yourself, so that's brilliant. And it is something really nice to do while we're all, kind of in lockdown. We're still a bit in lockdown here, really. Toonami says we have a TJ Fridays and a Hard Rock Cafe in Newcastle. Oh, have you got both?
I like
Which do you prefer?
I do like Hard Rock. It's one of the things that I seek out in. Is Danny around?
The one in Florida is amazing.
Danny, let me just go and get Danny.
Where the entrance, it's like a giant guitar. The whole restaurant is like shaped like a guitar, and you walk like through the arm of the guitar to go to the restaurant. That's beautiful.
Danny, here, he every time I go overseas and go to a place where there is a Hard Rock Cafe, I get him. He's not wearing one at the moment, actually. He's wearing his Danny Coyd jumper that he came with. But buy him a Hard Rock badge for his shirts, and also I actually bought a bear. They had a bear in Hard Rock Cafe that was that had a shirt on. I had to buy the whole bear just because I wanted the Hard Rock hoodie for Danny. So yeah, it's somewhere I always seek out, and they are good. Nice cocktails.
Is that a question for us, Nick? About
do we shop on eBay?
Oh, is it Snip?
I'm guessing
shop on eBay.
No, not sometimes.
Not as much.
I tend to buy furniture. It's good for furniture, cheap furniture. I sell stuff on eBay as well. Just like
Mr. Moley, is that the last joke of the day? Did we hear about the bloke who drowned in a bowl of muesli? He was pulled under by a strong current. It's brilliant. That's one of your better ones, that one, Mr. Moley. I think that's pretty good. Ian R says, loves the chats on here, but I think we're out of the habit of watching footy on a Saturday afternoon now.
We are, definitely.
Yeah, we are.
It's been a long time, 3 months.
We really need to get back to it. I mean, we've done this, obviously, while the football's off, but when the football's back, we're not going to be doing this so much. The 3 weeks I was away, I did catch your stream back on the evening. I preferred TJ Fridays. I go off the games. Yeah, I must admit, TJ Fridays was really good. Wendy's Burgers, remember that place? Oh, where was that? Wendy's Burgers.
Rob says, "Be careful not to injure him, Jane." What?
Danny Coyd.
Oh, Danny, yeah, yeah, no, he's,
yeah.
As
long as he doesn't have an accident with a pitch roller, we're all right, aren't we? On the with Danny Coyd.
He's actually his shorts. You'll see
cool.
they were made from a napkin in Poland when he came with us when we took the train to Latvia in 2008. He just came with the shirts, and we thought, we need some shorts, and there was some really good quality napkins at this bar we were eating outside in Warsaw, and so we commandeered. And little Matt, who came with us, not little Matt from these videos, another little Matt, he actually fashioned, I don't know, he must have had it. I think we took a sewing kit from one of the hotel rooms, and he made these shorts for. And to be fair, this is now 12 years down the line, and they still fit him great. So There you go.
Oh, right. Just
Snip
quickly.
on eBay.
Well,
Oh,
first of all,
right.
Bright State of Mind is saying that Jesmond is a good place in Newcastle. Can we confirm that's a good place for a night out? Toon Army TV.
Yeah, I never actually stayed over in Newcastle. I need to do that when we're next.
Sorry,
there.
Tangerine Aid is saying Jesmond for a night out. Nick Muller's saying a snip on eBay is when you come in last second to stop someone else from buying.
Oh no, never done that.
No. I always forget about.
do
I
you
always
do that,
forget
Nick?
about. I
Yeah,
forget
I
about
do.
blooming eBay things. I never buy anything on eBay, and whenever I do, it's always rubbish.
Do you remember the Wimpy opposite the old Woolworths?
Oh,
in
yeah, I
town?
do,
Yeah,
I
I think I went
do.
to a party in there.
Yeah, and I tell you what they used to have there. They don't have anywhere else, but they used to have root beer in Wimpy.
Did
It
they?
was root beer. Oh, it was ace.
I remember going
It was
to
the best drink of them all.
I went to Scarborough. We played Scarborough pre-season the one time, and I went. The few of us went over there for the weekend, and they had a Wimpy there, and I got so excited. Oh, Wimpy, and it was just shit. So I remembered it fondly, but it wasn't good. So there's still a thing. But
Ben has congratulated us on 1900.
Oh, woo.
So yes, we got 1900, Ben. We just need 100 more. Just get us to that
We'll get
2000. If you know anybody, who just tell them to subscribe. We need 2000 subscribers. That's the goal at the moment.
Wimpy in Southend as well.
Without
I'm
the
thinking
football,
of
we're not getting
Southend.
there.
I'm thinking of
Birmingham
Southend,
3-3 with Hull. Oh, that's a disaster for Hull, isn't it? That is a disaster for Hull. They've
Maybe it
done
was
so well.
Southend. I'm thinking that we went for the weekend and not Scarborough.
Yeah, I figured that Hull wouldn't win that, to be honest. I think they're going down, Hull, to be honest. I think they've got it written on them. I think they've got...
Waitress service in Wimpy.
Is there?
Mm.
Jesmond is good. The quayside is better overlooking the Tyne. Oh, we'll have to try it.
Definitely wants some good pubs in Newcastle as well.
We'll have to come and do a Newcastle game with
Definitely.
with Sharky, won't we? We'll have to come up and do one with you as well. It'd be great to...
Definite stop over Newcastle.
Yeah, definitely. Polar bear is a mare.
Oh, right.
A mare, right? A polar bear is a mare. Oh God!
Right.
I'll tell you, Alan. You need to send us a translation book for all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, get well soon, Lee.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. We'll do, hopefully so.
Christopher Heaney, hello, says, remember your trip to Lincoln, the Castle Hotel.
Oh, yes, he's recommended the Castle Hotel. Oh, hi, Chris. I didn't even know you were here, but he's recommended the Castle Hotel as a place
I'll write
to go
it down
when we go to Lincoln. Wigan 2-0 up now against Blackburn. Oh, so that's it. That's going to finish on that then, isn't it? Looks like that's how it's going to stay.
Right.
Can't beat a good night out on the Toon, football and drink. Well, we know we're all friendly up there. It's a nice friendly
Yeah, there is a
place to
good
go.
pub that we go to. I can't remember what it's called. It's quite a big one.
Well, I like the North East.
Completely forgot what it's called.
It's nice. Very friendly people, aren't they?
Doesn't help at all, does it? Right, better go.
So,
need to have some tea.
Leeds are 3-0 up. Middlesbrough are going to beat Stoke 2-0. Wigan are going to beat Blackburn now 2-0. It's just whether Hull can hang on for a point at Birmingham, but probably a point's not good enough for them. They're in dire straits. Thank you, Toon Army. Thanks for everyone for joining in.
Yeah, thank you.
We're all happy here because Preston lost 3-1
Oh,
at
yes.
the start of the day.
Did.
We just need to mention it one last time.
Mhm.
Preston North End are out of the playoff spots, which makes every Blackpool fan happy. So we're all very happy.
Apparently they do nice pies though at Preston, butter pies.
Is there any last things? Mile Castle.
No, it's not it.
See you both on Tuesday, Mr. Muller. Yes, don't forget we have our quiz on a Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. We're actually going to do a poll as to whether you think 7 o'clock is too early for it, because we're not getting that many to come on it, which is a shame.
So do we have it on a different time, a different day? You know, what would you prefer? Look out for the poll.
I'm going to put a poll in the channel just to tell us what you think about the quiz, because it's a lot of work and there's not that many.
Castle, yeah, it might actually.
There's not that many coming to do the quiz, which is a shame because we'd have liked to see it take off a bit. Ben's going to see us on Tuesday, all right? So it's okay with you.
Well, Pirate goes to the doctor and says, "I have moles on my back." Ah. The doctor says it's okay, they're benign. Pirate, count again. I think there might be 10. Oh, that's good.
10.
That's good. I like it. And another mole joke as well.
Wow, yeah. Home fans in ground before away fans, I think will happen. Yeah, I think so. Ian R loves us both. We love you too, Ian. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Toon Armies, Toon and Proud, absolutely.
Tuesday, 8 o'clock.
Oh, Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Yeah, well, we have said this. We think it's a little bit early. A lot of people.
It clashes with football, though, doesn't it? No, I'm tired. Mind you, I've been staying up till midnight, so
yeah,
maybe.
I mean, it's only till 9
Yeah.
o'clock. I think we might try 8 o'clock, actually.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
it may, a few people are not back from work in time.
Yeah, Miss Molly says I think later would be better. Okay, yeah, so you got time to finish your tea. Karen's having a tea, wasn't she, the other?
Yeah, I think everybody's thinking we might.
Many people are back at work.
So we might go for 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We might go for 8 o'clock this week and see if we get a few more in, because it's so far.
Yeah.
We're getting some in. All the best to you,
it's a good
Sharky, as
quiz
well.
and
Have you got a
Sharky.
live stream on tonight, Sharky? Are you doing one of your 10-hour epics, or are you not doing them at the moment? Toonami normally does a live stream at 8 o'clock on his channel, Toonami TV. If you haven't checked it out, already, he's our favourite Newcastle United fan. Wigan winning again, keeping a clean sheet. Yeah, I think we're gonna. Oh, yeah.
I
think that's Leeds of
selfish perspective.
Leeds have won 3-0. It's still not finished at Birmingham and Hull, which is the big one. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. If you're there on Tuesday, we'll see you then for our quiz. In the meantime, take care and look after yourselves and stay safe. It's been lovely chatting with you all again today. Really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot.
Bye.
Toonami's streaming tomorrow after the game instead. What time's that, Sharky? Leeds are 3-0 up.
Had some general knowledge, but it's a football quiz. We could do, I guess.
Yeah, we could maybe add some general knowledge into it. I'm off for another month, driving me mad, but still got a job. Well, that's good, isn't it? Are you still in quarantine then, Nick, on that one? Thanks, Ben. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks to your mum as well for the advice on looking after us. Bye, Nick. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Take care. Bye. Preston lost, by the way. Bye. Rangers went through a 25-year hoodoo with no trophies. Did they really? Well, on that bombshell, we'll probably talk about that next time. Right. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.